Because I said, oh my God. But it wasn't her fault. I didn't tell her to turn on the computer. I should assume, that's why I never assumed that. But anyway, we're going to show you some really neat stuff. Now this afternoon, anybody ever have to create drafts? PowerPoint? Okay. When I was at ACC, now imagine it's General Flowers, people at Colonel at the time, said, hey Josh, I need 100 graphs, I want 5 historical years, I want month by month, I want a background, and anyway, and there were 7 different sets of graphs. And he said, Josh, how much time do you need to do that? How much time?
Got the data? A couple hours.
Couple hours. I only had 5 hours. And one of the civilians said, there's no way that you can do it in 5 hours. I said, well, you can watch it, but don't ask me any questions until I finish, then I'll teach you how to do it. He stood behind me the whole time. I kept hearing, wow, wow, wow. He was like, you got a macro? I go, no, this is simple techniques. It's been built in Microsoft since 1976. Just if you don't know, you don't know. So what I did is I have a menu with 38 designs. And what they do, they tell me which designs they want. I tell Microsoft, I start kicking them off, and I'll teach you that this afternoon. I'll teach you how to do 100 graphs in 5 days. And I'll tell you how hard you make it. We can design that. Okay? Also, I mentioned about DCO. I'm going to set your own personal DCO accounts. Again, you know how you work with IT, and now what happens, they say, hey, can I come into your computer? You know what I'm talking about? Everybody knows? It's the same logic, except you're FMSOC. So imagine using a DCO account to go ahead and maneuver into your any person in the world account. You can get to their desktops. And they also make it for civilians. That's why I have set up with my mother-in-law. It's called BYEW. Also used to help my kids in college. They had trouble with any type of piece. I tap right into their laptops. Okay, so you have this technology here. It's all free. Everything I'm going to show you is free. It's on your desktop. Okay, so let's get started. Let's talk about some of this. Okay, for Windows. Okay, now normally, if we have this, how many people have this on their desktop? Let's see. Their desktop looks like this. A couple of you? Okay. We have nobody at Army headquarters with this at all. None of them. Their desktops are completely clean. The reason we do that is because we teach them technology that Windows 7 has to offer to you. Because they say, well, Ed, I need them. No, I say you don't need them, because it caches every time. IT doesn't like this. Some bases or posts I've been to, IT cleans their desktop every night. Doesn't matter when they do a restart. The reason why it gets rid of 90% of their calls because it's usually the caching. So none of our machines look like that. We're going to teach you ways that Windows 7 works. Okay. We'll also show you shortcuts. We'll show you designing. So don't worry about taking notes. We have this all in the package. So first thing I want to show you. If I open up, now this is called a launch key. Now look at my stuff. I got Internet, Excel, Word, PowerPoint, Access PowerPoint, Notepad. Anybody use a snipping tool? Yeah. Outstanding. Who doesn't use a snipping tool? Or who doesn't know about it? Very good. Remember the days of taking print screens? Remember that? Okay, use the snipping tool, print screens are gone. What it does, the snipping tool, when you activate it actually activates all your monitors. It allows you to crop on the fly. And then what we do is we train our people, when they crop it, open up their email, paste it right in their email, and sends it off. So you don't have to go to Word. People were going to Word, saying it's attachment. I said, go right in your Outlook, paste it in, boom, send it off. And they go, wow, that saves a lot of time. So, snipping tool, but what we have is a launch key. The reason I showed you those numbers, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, because I can launch all those windows this quick. See, all 7 of my windows are coming up. So we train our analysts to know that. So while you're sitting there clicking, all our machines are already up and running. Okay, and the way that works is because the sequence, Internet's 1. So I held the Windows key down and hit 1 on the keyboard, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I launched all my windows. Does anybody know how to set up another Excel? So say I had Excel open. Now this is a snipping tool. I activated it. I'm going to go ahead and, what it does allows you to crop. So see, I crop. and it's already in the buffer. That's why the people love that thing. Okay, so I go to Excel. Also, when you're in Windows 7, you have what we call a roller deck. See, I can roller deck through my screen. See? So then you go Shift back, and wherever I stop at, it goes to that. Okay, so the Windows key activates and moves through this. Everything I'm showing you is what we spend time training our analysts at headquarters. Because if we train and train and train our analysts, trust me, these skills go a lot further than your current job. So that's how we're moving through the screen. So what we just showed you, now I have one Excel open. How would you normally open another Excel? Go ahead.
Go to start and open up another Excel.
Did you hear what she said? Go to start and open another Excel. Does everybody know that? Yes, ma'am. That's another way. Yes, you can right click and open, right? That's two good answers. Start, right click. Okay, we don't use any of those. It's too slow for us. So let me show you a fast way. Next time you get back to your computer, your shift key is called a duplication key in Windows. So I just hold the shift key down, click on the Excel, it fires up number 2, fires up number 3, fires up number 4. Okay, so I have Excel open, right? So if I'll open up another Excel, I just hold the shift key down. Watch, I'll hold it down, click on it. Here comes number 2, 2's up. Shift. Word, same way. PowerPoint, same way. Everybody got it? Okay. Does everybody know how the snap function works in Windows 7? Snap. Okay, what happens is I have 2 Excels. Now usually we have dual monitors. I'll have 4 Excels up. So the first one I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the header, let Windows know what I'm going to do. It says I snapped it 50% to the right. I snapped this 50% to the left. I got snap, snap. See how quick I did that? What you do, just hold the Windows key down and hit right arrow, it'll snap it 50% to the right. Windows left arrow, snaps 50 to the left. Windows up arrow will make it full screen. Windows down arrow will minimize. Got it? Good so far? Okay. I guess I'm going to keep moving because we got a lot of stuff to cover and I want to make sure you at least see it. We have all the instructions for you. So we talked about snap. We talked about how to bring up files. Now how do most of you save as in Excel? How do you do it? File save as? Anybody know another way? Who knows a super fast way?
That's true. Close it and ask if you want to save.
Yeah, that's another way. Anybody know the fast way? The fastest way possible? Okay, remember I was telling you why our Army analysts don't do anything manually or do anything extremely long? Because we teach them every shortcut Windows offers. So next time you're in any type application, your favorite key will become the F12 key. So watch what I do. I click in here in F12. Look what comes up. Now people go, oh, that's just a window. No, it's a very powerful window. Let me show you something else. You notice, how do you maximize this? Do somebody grab this right-hand corner and stretch it down?
Just double click it.
He gave the answer. Anytime you don't see the minimize maximum, just double click on the header. But you can do that in any window, not just this. So in other words, if I want to go full screen, I just double click the header. But here's the power. That's why all our analysts have maybe 30 shortcuts. Remember how they put their shortcuts, some of you put shortcuts on your desktop? We never do that. We put them all right here. You get your favorite folder, just drag it in there. Does that make sense? So instead of you going to your desktop, the F12 key takes you there. So if I want to go to the 440th, I already hit the F12, and look, I'm there. One click, I'm there. I want to go to Paul's dashboard, click, I'm right there. FM Tools, I'm there, see? Then I can do a save as. Does that make sense? Pretty cool? F12s, remember the F12 key. Okay, here's another little trick question. I put a 1 in here, I drag it down, what do I get? Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Depends where?
Where you drag it. Oh, yeah, it's going to do 1 and 1.
No, it's okay, but what happens if I go to...
1, 2, then it'll
Well, what happens if I put a 1 here in column C, though? What happens? Huh? What happens? See the difference? Column A did 1, column C did... Why did it happen? Huh?
There's something in there that change. I don't.
I always had to take 1 and 2 to get it to actually do the sequential on how you want it in order. I never actually seen it do like that.
Well, you can just drag it all the way down and click a little box at the bottom and have it change whether you want it to fill or copy.
Right, what we're teaching you is the most powerful key in Excel. Make sure you remember this key. It's the control key. The control key does the opposite of what Excel's trained to do. So when I did 1, Excel only knows 1. But hold the control key, I'm telling Excel do the opposite, so it did this sequential. Okay, does that make sense? I use Excel, I used Excel back in the 80s when I was kids, I got a lot of kids. But anyway, I used Excel to teach them the alphabet. I used Excel to teach them the presidents. I taught them how to do all the stakes and capitals simply in Excel. But the magic was they couldn't figure out how I did it. Like I would type in Alabama, they drag it down, all 50 states would show up. I go to the next column, put in the capital, Alabama, not Montgomery. What is it? It is Montgomery. I put Montgomery, I drag it down, and all the capitals show up next to the state. But the kids, the reason I did it that way, because they got excited about playing, you know. I taught them the planets, I taught them everything, just simply using Excel. I told Excel to train my kids. They did. And parents come over and they go, hey, you got to see this. Ed's computer's possessed, man. But I actually had to cheat. I won't tell you a thing, he's been married 8 times. And I've been to 4 of his weddings. So as a joke, I typed his first wife's name in cell 1. When he dragged it down, all his ex-wives showed up. You know what number 9 was? Pay your alimony. Anyway, he didn't laugh. He didn't crack a smile, so I had to take it off his computer. But you can do those type of things. So again, when you train Excel to do things, so people say, how can you design 5-minute graphics with start? Because I train my computer to start memorizing what I do. And that's what you can train Excel. And I'll teach you how to do that. Because that Excel doesn't know the alphabet. But you can train Excel to know the alphabet. Okay? Once you train it, Excel will always remember, and you can do it. Okay? Okay, so nice little trick. So remember the control key. Do any of you ever go in here, you put stuff in cells, and you hide the columns, and what happens? When you hide them, then you paste them over? It copies everything, right? So say like that. So let's say I hide column B, right? So when I hide column B like a normal hide, right? I want to hide column D, and I want to hide column F. See how fast I hit them though? Another powerful key is anytime you do anything in Excel, you want to repeat, just hit the F4 key. F4 repeats your previous command. I teach that a lot when they hide rows. Instead of going down there, you know, right click, you know, that kind of stuff, they just hit F4. Well, we also teach them shortcuts in Excel. We teach how to quickly maneuver the hide rows and just basic Excel. Okay, so I hide them, and there they're hidden. The most important little icon you can get is this one right here. When you go here and hit the down arrow and you go to more commands, these are the commands not even in the ribbons. There's over 600 of them. I want you to go to all commands. And what you're going to look for is called select visible cells. And when you find it, you add it to your icon so it looks like this over here. See it? Okay, so what that means is now, what's the quickest way to highlight data within data? Again, this trivia stuff. Just want to see who knows the answer. I want to highlight all this. What's the fastest way? Corner and drag it. Is that right? Anybody know another way? Who said control A? That's the answer. Anytime you're in Excel, you have large amounts of data. You don't want to hit the upper left-hand corner and grab the whole sheet. Okay, that's billions of cells. Click anywhere in the middle of it, hit Control A. It sends a signal to the left, right, top, bottom. So highlight all the data quickly. So if I hit Control A, it'll grab it. See? Control A. See how quickly I got it? Now, what I'm going to do is hit Select Visible Cells, and I do a Control C. See how the little ants are going around it? Because it's only copying what it sees. So I go to next tab, paste, it only brings those over. Make sense? Good so far? Okay, by the time I finish today, you'll learn 1,000 new things. It'll be shocking. Because I'm going to start firing. I'm going to keep firing because I only have so much time. So we're going to keep firing, but you have the instructions, okay? But we want to keep showing you some neat little tricks. Also, this is probably one of the neatest tricks. Let me just paste this in there. Okay, say I have this data, and I want to move it to another tab. I'm going to copy these cells, I'm going to move it to sheet 3. But I don't want to paste, because all I'm doing is pasting the same cells over, right? Another little trick. It's called the camera. Anybody used a camera before? Wait till you see what this magic tool does. You bring the camera, I click on the camera. See the camera. I come over here to sheet 3, and then I click. There it is. I can make it larger, smaller. It's a moving object. See? I come back here. I hit Control A, Control H. I replace 1 with 12. Oops. Should have replaced all. Okay, click that. Look at my sheet 3. Look at that. The camera, the reason we use this, because when we run our dashboards for the general, we move the camera over so we can size what they see. Every desktop's different size. So we built it and start zooming. So the camera is a really powerful tool. It pulls an object from another cell, brings it in, allows you to size it, move it anywhere you want. And nobody's ever used it, right? Okay, but it's pretty powerful. So again, we're just sharing you some things that you see. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
With that camera, can you only use it on the same workbook, or can you put it on a different?
No, it has to stay within the same consumable workbook, yeah.
So
But
you
you
can
can
have
use
like,
it.
I mean, if you had like your 2 Excel spreadsheets open, you couldn't throw it on the other.
No, it's got to stay within the same.
Does PowerPoint have a camera?
Hmm?
Does PowerPoint have a camera?
No, I don't think so. We can go check though. I usually don't need it in PowerPoint because I'm bringing all the objects in from Excel. But that's a good question. That's a good question. So anyway,
So instead of using the camera, why would you just zoom in on the original spreadsheet?
I'm sorry.
I said instead of using the camera to zoom in, why would you just zoom in on the original workbook or worksheet?
Well, I'm moving it to another tab. I'm using from other data. And I'm going to show you why.
Okay.
But, okay, if I have a bunch of windows open, what's the fastest way to shut them down besides hitting the power off switch? Huh? Shut them down. Okay, it's going to be Alt F12. So Alt F12 will shut down your windows. Oops, is it Alt F12? You know what, I got to find out because I've used it so much. I don't think it's Alt F12. Let me find it out for you. Or is it just F12? Shoot, maybe that's what it is. Nope. It brings up the code. Anyway, I'll find that out for you. Okay. Here's a typical dashboard. This is a reserve link at the 440 out at reserve components. I think all the reserves are moved to Deans, correct? You guys moved? Okay. So the reason I was called out is because the colonel out there would work till 9 o'clock at night. Just got to bring both systems in Deans and BQ. Got to constantly do that. So I was called out to help her. And I said, well, Colonel, while we're there, the easy part's going to be building your stats of funds because we're going to stack that data together. That's what I was telling Josh. Paul Sticker is one of the best in the Air Force at doing that. But I said, ma'am, if you really want to make this dashboard work, besides the status funds, put your POCs out there, put outstanding orders, but mainly this one, information. Because you got a 1-star review in it, plus you got all your group commanders, your RAs, and everybody. So when you go to information, what I would do is put every system you deal with, and it's just a link that shoots to those. See, it's one-stop shop. And they still got me. So them trying to look up, it becomes information. That's what a dashboard's really for. Then I go back. Resource management training, they got them all for the commanders. They just click on it. SAMs and publications, they have it all. The point I'm trying to make to all of you is just make your dashboard, and here's their list. All they do is click on it and it sends an email to them if they got any questions. We also have print buttons on every page. It only prints that particular page, so if they want to go to a status of funds. But that's a typical dashboard. Now here's what our generals are getting into. Let me get into it. Okay, this is the course you're going to be downloading. We run it through 3 chapters. We're going to teach you a lot of nice tricks. And a couple of my friends have already taken this. They've used pieces of it because they didn't realize itself can do all that magic. So when you bring it down, you save it to your desktop or save it somewhere. Start with chapter 1. Just print out the Word documents first. And trust me, you go through this, you're going to learn so much about Excel. Because Mr. Friedman, who designed this, did a beautiful job designing for a general staff. And the reason they want it, now I can't give you the ones we briefed at the general level, but I kind of show you the ones we're going to give you. Here it is. Oops. Okay, here's a regular old, oops, did it again. Okay, so here it is. First thing we do, we're going to run it. See, there's no tab showing. See, it looks like a regular dashboard. And what happens is, this is a graphic, so the generals, what they do, instead of them saying, hey, I got 100 slides to go through, it's interactive. So what they do, they hit the down buttons, it sends a signal to another sheet that we trigger back using properties and swing it back. So in other words, it says Marines up there. If I change it to Air Force, and it's also using the camera, and it'll change the data on the fly. See? It's interactive. So our general staff can just click, 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 boom, they hit the PowerPoint, sends it to PowerPoint, sending emails. So the key is, you're starting to see what we're trying to do. We're eliminating gathering the data. General Martin will tell you, you're all analysts in here. You're not data collectors. So what we try to do, when our staff comes to work, starting at 8 a.m., they're ready to go to work. Analyze. What-if analysis, forecast models. Instead of gather, you know. So that's why I was mentioning, Paul the Sticker at Space is one of the best designers in the Air Force. And that's what he's doing for Mr. Patel. That's why they're so happy he's there. Because we worked together back in 2003 and 2004. He's a smart guy who learned how to do a lot of this, but anybody can learn. So that's interactive. What we do is we teach how to build all the, see all those pages like 8th page, 7th page, 6th page. When you click on that, it goes to those particular pages, which is really a tab hidden. And that's where we put the must pays, everything. It's all on the dashboard. But the cool thing is, it looks like a dashboard, and it's Excel. But our general staff wanted something that is interactive instead of just PowerPoint slides.
A quick question.
Yes,
This is all run through 2007, correct?
you can run through 2000.
How does it work? Does it work all the same for 2010?
Very good point. What the captain asked, will this work the same for 2010? It's a little different. We're going to take you into reference tools in the back end of Excel and put 2 check. Then it'll work with 10 and 13. But we walk you picture by picture. The technology behind this is so brilliant. I mean, when Paul designed this, I was like so impressed. I go, Paul, that is so cool. Because there's a lot of work going into it. Also, I don't know if you notice the title here, changed when I changed the top piece. I didn't know you could go into a title and put a formula in there and trigger it. And it showed you that. And we're going to show that to all. Our Word documents are picture by picture that we walk you through it. 10 civilians are write graphic because I let them test it. Never returned to design. But they thank us because we taught them how to do it. They really appreciate it. So that, again, the key is all of you. So when I was NCO, that was my job at the bases. So my job was to make everybody around me better. Hey, let's go see Sergeant Fritts. Because that accomplishes nothing. If I'm the go-to person, you're already failed. Because that means that, you heard the old saying, you get hit by a truck. But some people like to possess all that talent, right? That's not the way to do it. And in order to help others, is to help others. Now, trust me, when you help others, you'll get promoted a whole lot faster, too. So, anyway, and somebody asked me, because they saw my shirt, I was at E6 at the time. They said, Ed, where'd you get all those MSNs? I just said simply sharing technology. And I wasn't a high rank, I was lower ranking. So I received 4 MSNs in 4 years. Boom, boom, boom. And it's all because every base I went to, every post I went to, they just kept handing out. But it's because that wasn't because of me, it's because everybody around me was so much better. So that's why Captain Wright's mentioned the same thing. If you can share this technology with your fellow workers, go a long ways. Anyway, here's Excel. So we have it all set up in training materials. We'll kind of show you what it looks like. We have a README file first. Once you read this first, and I'm telling you, you have attachments because we can give you some raw data. We also have some macros built in already. But the key note is if you're using 10 or 13, you're going to open Excel, hitting Alt F11 and go to Tools References and put a check mark into these 2 boxes. Because you've got to activate those boxes in order to send the macro across the network into those pieces, okay? So anyway, read me. When you start off with chapter 1, here it is. Okay, it was created by Paul Friedman, assisted by Joshua Prager and James Yoder. These two, all three of these did it way up there. So we're going to take you step by step like you've never touched Excel in your life. See, we're telling you, click on View, click on Freeze Pane. We're going to freeze a little bit first, but we're going to walk everything's picture by picture, illustrations. See? And you can see a young lady down here, her name is Erica Jamro, another young lady. She got her master's, and she used to teach Excel in college. So what she did, she rewrote my instructions, whole lot better than what I did. And she did a beautiful job. She goes, sir, be polite, yours is kind of not there, so do you mind if I take it? I said, no, go for it. So she rewrote it, and she did a beautiful, beautiful job. But we walk through all the segments. We teach you how to set the pieces, insert, oval, all these things. So we walk you picture by picture. So we have all this. And that's going to be the dashboard. We're going to walk them through it, the National PDI. Also, Windows 7. Okay, here's the PSR Word tool, and I'll show you what that is. Okay, let's say, I'm going to, the gentleman back there mentioned he used the PSR. How many people use the PSR out of Windows? 1, 2, good. That's the #1 product. Windows 7 says it's their #1 product. Yeah, 99.9% of people don't even use it because they don't know about it. Anybody here do like continuity books? Remember you used to print screen, paste in the Word? Okay, I don't have all day to do continuity books. So I use the PSR. And James Yoder built a macro that sends that finished product to Word. So you can edit, edit, do whatever you want. Again, a smart kid that went ahead and said, hey, sir, I don't know if this will help. I said, no, James, that's a big break. That's huge. He said, while you're there, why don't you teach them how to turn off the second monitor? Because see, the PSR will snap both pictures. So we teach you how to turn off the second monitor. So that way it only snaps that picture. That makes sense? Okay, so let's pretend. I'm going to run the PSR. We're going to break here in about 2 minutes. I'm going to teach somebody how to open Excel. So I click on the recorder. First thing I do, though, I go to the max amount of pictures. I go to Settings and change the 25 to 100. That's what I want to share with you two guys. See, so you change that to 100. Now I'll let you go up to 100 pictures. I hit Start Record. Okay, as soon as I start record, every time I left click, you see the little red button? It keeps hitting it. Oh, thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Thanks. Perfect. And then every time I click, you see a new monitor shows up. See it? So the camera is, the PSR is taking pictures. Okay, then I go backwards. I'm just clicking back. Okay, then I can add a comment. Okay, I'm going to go test. Okay, click OK. Now I'll click again, click again, click again. Then I'll type a 1 in here. So I'm teaching them how to do this. I'm making this up, of course. I go over here, click that, and drag it down. Okay, and I'm teaching this. Then I said, okay, that's enough teaching. I'm going to stop recording. First thing the PSR is going to ask for, where do you want to save this at? So I'm going to save it and call it testing, make it a little bit different. So I hit save, right? So I saved it. Okay. So I go in that folder, and here it is called testing. When I open it up, it creates an MHT file. And see, it actually took a picture of everything I did. See it? See that? It recorded every single picture. That's how I train people around the world. I have them DCO click to my signature block, and before I even start, I launch their PSR, but while I'm in their screen, I turn off monitor 2. Actually, I teach them how to do it. Then I change the settings from 25 to 100. I said, okay, guys, let's go to work. It's okay. And they're amazed that we're doing all this within seconds. They go, wow, that's cool. But during my DCO, I have all of my training materials on the right-hand side so they can download while I'm training. Okay, so I have that, and you'll see that as I go down, that's every picture I took, every one of them. And it tells you how many pictures. I'm up to, see, number all the way up, 18. So the key is, I exceeded 25. That's why you need to change to a 100. This number 26 will be okay, but number 1 picture will go away. That's why you got to change your settings to 100. Okay. Now this wasn't the best part. The best part is what James did. So what James did, because you can't alter this. So he says, sir, will this work? I go, oh, absolutely, James. So I go back to Windows 7. I double click his Excel, convert to Word. So which one is it? Testing zip. And he's running a macro. He's scrubbing the file, and it's done. 100 pictures takes about 11 seconds. But he runs a macro through that. Done. Then when he goes into it, he creates the Word document. I click on that. There it is. Except now I can edit. I can change this. You know, it's all this regular stuff. Testing. See, we couldn't do that before. So it allows you to edit and clean it up. Get rid of pictures. You can zip new pictures in. So now I'm even faster designing training materials for the customers. Pretty cool? Very cool. And you all have that. So give me until next week. It will be on the national convention, and you just download it. Okay. Now I will tell you, every time I showcase this national level, our website gets bombed. So it's not like, hey, it's not working. Well, it's working. It's just that we can't take 1,000 people at once trying to hit it. So I just tell people to be patient. I suggested 2 in the morning. People went out there at 2 in the morning. It still didn't work. Because everybody went out at 2 in the morning. I said, well, that might be a good time. So now you can edit your PSR, which allows you to do other types of stuff. Isn't that cool? Because usually you can't edit, but now you can. So you just send it. In fact, what you can do is make your training package, convert it to Word, make some cleaning up, and there it is. And you keep it in Word. Now, what some people do, they'll keep it in Word, and as soon as they finish it, they move the PDF, then they send it off. Yes, sir.
Throughout the process, you made a comment. Where did that stick?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's in, I think I put testing down. Let's scroll through and find it. What it does, between each picture, you can actually type. Can't remember where I did it at. Just do Control F. Insert test. Yeah, I can't remember what I typed in there. Was it test?
Yeah.
Let's see, test. 15, there it is. See? So what I do is that if I'm doing this, I'll insert a comment, go to Reg 65-601, chapter, that kind of stuff. Very good chapter. Okay. Yes, ma'am?
So when was it taking the picture that we had?
Every left click.
Okay. And so that is for any system that you're.
And he says, I use it for Chris. I use it for PBAS. I use it for AFK. I use it for DTS. DTS a lot. Because people, they struggle with it. But if I take a PSR of it, wow, they can go back and view it. Also, you can run this as a slideshow. So on monitor 2, you can run it as a slideshow. And then on the left, you can actually do the work. I think you'll be using this PSR when you get back, right? Pretty powerful stuff. Yeah. Right? And then you'll see somebody do a print screen. Oh, please, let me show you something. Tell me. Okay. I'm sorry.
Did you show us how to second screen? Very shows how.
Very good, very good. Now, there's a lot of clicking you got to do this. I'm just kidding, 2 clicks. Okay, here we go. Let's show you how to do that. So, in here, 1 screen display with PSR. Okay, let me turn this off. I'm going to blow it up for you. So what you do, it's kind of bad resolution. But I tell you up here in the text, right-click on desktop and choose screen resolution. When you go there, you click the down arrow and choose desktop only 1 or 2, whatever one you want. Okay? That's all you do. Okay, as soon as you click on it, hit apply and you're done. That's it. But you got to do it before the 10 seconds runs out, okay? Does that make sense? And to switch it back, we have the instructions to switch it back. Okay? Because people get stuck with this. Because if you got 4 monitors, it's going to take pictures of all 4 and it stretches out. And then people are cropping. So that's why with turning off the monitors. So you also have that. We give you all those instructions. Okay, so we also have, remember I was telling you about email. Here's a typical, okay, this is my email block. All our headquarters Army people, they have the same thing. a regular signature block, but see, here's my URL. I've had this for 7 years. Okay? I can actually hit DCO from my hotel room and help you in this room, from my hotel. I don't have to be on a dot mill. That's the beauty of DCO. So you don't have to use your tag. You can use your username and password. So, because I get called, emails, or phones are ringing. Hey, Ed, I got a little problem with an access database. I say, hey, no problem. I'm at the hotel. They can hear the lady speaking. And I say, hey, don't mind the noise. They said, are you doing this from the airport? Yeah. You can get to my computer from the airport? Yes, I can. With a Mason, because here's the key, as military, you've got to set up your DCO in a document. When we go in that classroom, we're going to set up your accounts. Remember the username and remember your password. You have to change it every 60 days. But I show a nice little easy trick to remember how to do it. And I'm just going to tell you. You got to do these 15 characters, right? So what I tell them is use your first initial, is a capital, first name, capital letter, last name, lowercase, a $, 11 zeros, and a 1. 60 days you change it, change the 1 to a 2, to a 3, to a 4, to a 5. It doesn't look back the last 10, isn't that crazy stuff? So I'm up to 64. That tells you how long I've had it. So, or even higher than that, I can't remember. But anyway, so the key is, once you set it up once, see, I didn't know that. Years ago, I thought at DCO you had to set up a meeting, and you had to keep setting it up and tell them what time it is. DCO expert says, oh, it's a waste of time. I said, well, why'd you put it in here? Well, because we're letting you know you could do that. But most of us all have our own accounts. How much easier can it be than have your name on it, right? So what we do with all of you, we're going to do your first name, last name, capitalize your first name, last name, and put them together. And that's your permanent DCO from now on. So if anybody needs any help, just click on your signature block and come straight to your computer. Pretty cool? Let me tell you something. When you can see their computer, you can help them a whole lot faster than being on the phone. What are you saying? You ever go through that? Or you end up doing a screen capture, right? I have not done a screen capture in years because of PSR code. So I activate their PSR on their computer. And the cool thing is I'm going to show you how, from my computer, I can get to her computer, ask request for access, and I'll run my mouse with her. General Dyson, she used to bring her SESs to the Pentagon and stuff. They don't do it. General Dyson holds the DCO from her house, all the SESs come in, they all work on the PowerPoints, all their mouses are active, they make changes. That's how many hours and days that saves. Or having 10 copies. You know? Does that make sense? Making sense a little bit? Okay, again, we have instruction. Okay, so here's a DCO, and let me show you one with a civilian. Because she runs a DCO quite a bit. See, that's Catherine's. That's typical. See, we make it part of your signature block. Now, this wasn't my idea. Civil servant came up with it. I said, what are you doing? She goes, well, heck, I'm not going to send that out. Just make it part of my signature block. I said, that is so smart. I like that. I'll just use that. And it stays permanent. Cool? Okay, so that's how we maneuver so quickly, assisting each other. Okay. Okay, another thing. I got a PowerPoint up. A little trivia stuff. How do you start a PowerPoint show? Anybody? F5. F5, very good. Say I have 100 slides, I'm on slide 66. How do I start at 66? I got 66. Right, but the show's on. See, if you hit F5, it goes back to 1. The answer I'm trying to give you is shift F5. Shift F5. So whatever slide you're on, shift F5 will trigger that slide. Okay, I'm only telling you this, we never brief this way. We don't brief in PowerPoint. Our general staff doesn't like it. Because people that brief in PowerPoint are too slow. They can't maneuver. You know, we have to get the several internet pages. We got to have several Excels open, Word, all these type of regulations. Well, you can't do that running a PowerPoint show, right? If you did, what would you have to do if I want to get to the internet? Anybody? Right, you got to get to a hyperlink, right? Then you got to swing back. Right? So I'll see some of these PowerPoints have all these hyperlinks. And I said, guys, I can't have 60 hyperlinks. Because when I worked for General Ham at AFRICOM, Army, I had to have all the internets open of all the countries down in South Africa, or in Africa. Like Timbuktu, Madagascar, I know it sounds like Disney. But anyway, these are real countries. I thought it was a joke. I looked at the order in BTS, I said, Timbuktu, who's going to Timbuktu? You go, sir, it's real. I go, really? Okay, and Madagascar, so it's kind of new. But the key thing I'm trying to show you, from now on, when you brief, take this back to your office. I assure you, your comptrollers, your budget officers, all the people will appreciate you gave this to them. We haven't, I'll show you how we do it. See my taskbar here? Okay, I don't hit Shift F5 or F5. I have an icon here. I'm going to click on it. You see the difference? Look what's open. Everything. So I have all 15 countries up and right now. As I'm going through my briefing, I go to the internet, boom, I'm there. My PowerPoint's still running. All my windows are still running. But that magic icon you need to take back, it's called slideshow in a window. Make sure you write that one down. So in PowerPoint, you go to that icon, it's called slideshow in a window, and add it to your toolbar. And when you click on it, it'll fire it up. So that way, and like I said, we don't do F5, Shift F5 anymore because we got to have so many windows open. Does that make sense? Okay, so we just want to get that to you right away. Now let's tap into Excel here a little bit. Oh, also we have DCO creation. We're going to teach you, we got instructions on walking picture by picture how to create your DCO account. There it is. Oh, here's something that's kind of neat. You ever get somebody over your shoulder when they see something on your screen? You ever get them over your shoulder, they can't read it, looking over your shoulder like an email? You ever get that? Okay, kind of annoying. Anyway, so what I'm trying to share with you, when the general comes by my desk, and I know she wants to look at something, all I do is put my mouse in the vicinity of where I want it to go, and I just do this. Okay, I blow it up for her. And I can blow it up more and more. See? It doesn't look good, but anyway, you get the idea. And that's Windows Plus. Windows Plus, wherever your mouse is at, it's going to blow your screen up. And Windows Minus will blow it down. Okay? So it allows you to blow up the screen right away. So when people are looking over my shoulder, I just quickly hit it. Then I shut it down. See it right here. So let me go Windows Minus. See, I'm back to normal. I just shut the mouse thing down. Okay? So Windows Plus, Windows Minus. Okay, then we're showing you how to create the DCO. We'll do that this afternoon. This is all the information stuff. The key part here, a captain is showing you what you'll get in return. We go to meeting, we create. And the most important block is this one. When we do it this afternoon, that's called custom URL. That's where we're going to put your first and last name. That one meeting you use the rest of your career. Okay? So instead of creating a meeting after the meeting. Okay, so there's the instructions for that. Okay. We also have the Windows 7 cheat sheets. We have the cheat sheets because what we did, I know you can't see that, so let me blow it up a little bit. Let's do it the normal way. So what we did here is every time they came to our class, we cut out these little cheat sheets so they can just kind of tape it to their monitor. So we did Windows 7, then we did DCO, so they could kind of remember. And within 2 weeks, they tore them off. They knew that. Because even though we run through the course, we go ahead and show them all the shortcuts that I do. And I actually sit at everybody's desk and walk them through it so they feel comfortable. Okay, so that's kind of stuff that we covered. Jump list. Some of you, the reason why you see all the objects on the bottom, see all the objects here? We don't use the start menu. Do a lot of you use the start menu? Sort of? Okay. I use my start menu to send myself to the internet or all my crisp links. my start menu is all that. Because I can maneuver quicker to my email with 2 clicks, not even clicks, I just use the keyboard, and I'm in my email right away. So we keep everything down here, but the key is the jump list allows me to see the last 40 objects, where the start menu only allows me to go 30. But I'm sure you, most of you in here are probably just doing 10, correct? You know how you see the most recent? Because unless somebody shows you again. So here, look at my Excel. So when I open my Excel, I right click, so I go up to 40. See, instead of typical 10. Let me show you something else while I'm showing you that. I have 25 windows open. I right click, see this window always comes to the very front. What happens when you put them on your desktop? You gotta get to your desktop, correct? See, so I use the Windows key to trigger everything to the forward position. That makes sense to you guys? Okay, so that's what the jump list is. Then we walk you picture by picture how to do that. Some of our customers, they said, Ed, you know, I just don't like how the titles, like if I have 15 internets open, it keeps them all compressed, I can't see them all. So what we taught them to do is make your icons small and release all of them. And we bring this up a little higher so they can see all of them. But again, it's whatever the customer says. So we give it to them any way they want. Okay, the other thing, and let's talk about this. Here we're going to get into, oh, back, you know, I've been running you guys. Let's take a small 7-minute break, come back at 4:15. Okay? I'm going to send you all this.
It is. It's really good though. I mean, a little bit's over my head.
Oh, no, it's
But
okay.
once you get, I think once you get into doing it, it's about practicing.
Yes, in fact, like a lot of different people I help, you know, people work at different speeds, but they'll notice I don't rush on it. Take our time. The general just gives me the time I need to work with each channel. And, you know, they put their names on the whiteboard, I just go down. So whatever way you're doing it, I would teach you maybe a more faster way, but it's up to you. Then with the general ask, all of your civilians is to write an SOP after the official Fritts instructions. And they do, that way she knows that you've learned.
Oh, yeah.
And so I'll take
But you have it for your own.
well, you take 2 or 3 day process, it turns into 30 seconds. He's not going to want to do that. So that's what we teach him. Teach him how to do all that. Maneuvering in Excel, graphics, whatever. And this afternoon we'll show you how the PowerPoints work. Once I teach it, every class I teach, I go, geez, that's all it is. I go, yeah, that's it. They think it's more, but they didn't realize Microsoft had it in there. They go, yeah, it's been there for 30 years.
I get frustrated with PowerPoint.
Oh, it's very tough. Our PowerPoint class is all day. I imagine 8 hours of it. But we're teaching really into designing, how to set the stuff, how to, like one of our PowerPoint demonstrations, we teach you how to make a hierarchy. What do I call it? You know, we put everybody's name in a chart. Org chart. Org chart. There you go. So we teach in the class how to do it in 5 minutes.
Wow.
Start from scratch. That would be helpful. So,
That would be helpful.
So we walk them through it, they go, oh my gosh. I said, how long does it take you guys? I'm still working on it. But once we teach them how PowerPoint maneuvers, and it does it all for you, they just shake their heads. Wow, that's crazy. So I teach them how to do an org chart in 5 minutes. I mean, you can do it in 5, but it takes longer to explain it. But once you teach it.
Have you been over to that FMC?
No, I kind of might be going over there soon. What's neat is all the generals, all the comptrollers for every branch meet for coffee every Tuesday.
I know.
So,
I just, because I know you're.
so I'm actually
We
Tuesday.
went walking around.
Air Force might be.
Down here by the.
In fact, like I said, a lot of the colonels, lieutenants are trained back. So they saw me in the hallway, hey, what are you getting over? Because they know I'm teaching.
Yeah, I think our coach here, and then there, and he was all
Right.
excited, and I mean, yeah,
Yeah, in fact, for the cost course, at Patterson, the whole 2-year course for the master's was nothing. So, right, that's a tough course. All of the TekSouth. So, they're pretty good. But we still got to teach them new stuff.
You doing much in Windows 8?
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of it yet.
Nah, it's got too many bugs. That's why people are going back to 7.
Oh,
Windows
Windows
8.
Surface here and,
It's amazing. Yeah, people are just frustrated because the main reason was the touch screen.
yeah, I'm used to more traditional desktop.
Right.
And,
That's why people don't like it.
The Surface has a lot of cool capabilities. I'm on an iPad.
No.
And I've been down ever since they downloaded the Microsoft Office to it. I like it, but I hate the fact that it's tied to a 365 account instead of I've already got the Microsoft Office 13 license, but I don't want to use that license for this. So having a balance between the two different systems. So
yeah, because you know, we have actually came out and helped us like that. A year before I got there. And then, Melissa got me.
No, but for budget purposes, so I'm gonna actually think about putting it on somebody to learn and.
I mean, it's good, especially for the younger. I was kind of.
Oh, yeah.
Did he come and teach you guys?
No,
He sat down with me one-on-one.
that problem I use that. Probably maybe 15, 16 days where we had to do that.
Oh, yeah.
So I sat him down and I said, okay, step 1, step 2, step 3, PDF. Now that I'm out of the phone.
I didn't do that. I was just doing
But then again, but how does he? The problem is, you need that macro in Excel to get it converted. Without that macro,
the CSR tool that I have on mine automatically exports it to Word.
you're probably a little bit good.
Oh, yeah.
No, it's downgrading the user. We used it up until last year on the stage. 2014. I've been using 13 last year when they gave us our PSLs. I like 10. I like 10 because it helped me get my dissertation a lot easier.
Yeah, 10's simple. I like that.
I want to go back to XP. I do.
Well,
That became
Windows
very reliable.
It was
last
stable.
couple
Well,
years.
it's like all the Mac users love Snow Leopard. They hate Mountain Lion. And for me, I started on Mountain Lion, so, or Maverick now, whatever it's called. So for me to go backwards compatible. But I love my Mac because I run dual monitor. I run my Windows all on one monitor, and I run my Mac stuff on the other side, and it makes life so much easier.
I thought it was a trick though to print from like when you snapshots from, if you got a dual monitor where you can get it to snap on one or versus snap both.
No, you do.
Because she said just cutting the screen off. I was like, well, I don't want to cut the screen off. I want to be able to snap whatever screen I'm working on only.
Well, the problem is, it's got to take pictures of
It seams them together.
But I thought there was a trick to actually do that.
No, that's what
I accidentally think I did it. I thought one time. I don't know how I did
You
it.
just turn off the monitor. They can't do it.
Yeah, That's how I had to take and crop each of those images
A lot nicer to shut it down.
and the resolution got cut way
Oh,
down.
yeah.
And that was my big thing. So I would go do 640 by 480 on screen resolution.
Right.
And on a 22-inch monitor, it kind of looks awkward, but that was how I could get the realistic
Well, now that
scale.
you know that,
Yeah, that's
eliminate that.
what I was telling some of the people. I was like, it's not the product that it is, it's the efficiency that you gain from that.
Right,
Like
exactly.
I said, I took a couple takeaways from when I was in BFMOC. It's made my life a lot easier. I mean, it took an 8-hour process down to a 1-hour process down to a 5-minute process.
And Captain White's really big on technology.
Oh yeah. Well, he gave us some of these bells and whistles, but like I said, that one little macro makes life a lot
All
easier.
done?
Because I got most of my NAP managers, they're not computer savvy. You can ask Josh. It's to get them to actually log in.
and bringing her to work for you.
Exactly. But knowing that you can convert it to work.
Yeah, that was the
You
biggest
your idea of
idea.
converting it, like printing it out, like
Yeah. Well, I would go with HTML,
The people who
convert it over, but it just was never right.
Oh, terrible.
And you have to.
I try and take my whole off on.
That's why James.
It's fun. Like, hey, you got the license now.
Make life a lot easier.
Okay, let's get started.
Yeah, they still do that.
What we're gonna do. Let's find out who's going to dinner tonight. Who can go? Put it this way.
Dinner.
Go to the dinner tonight? Just one? How many? 2? 3? Okay, I just need to know a count, so I can tell them. So we got 22, we got Captain, you can bring your husband, if you want to.
We are on dinner.
Well, that's how I'm able to get around it, is that it's under 20. See, I'm allowed to do that for one. That's why I had to work, that's why it took so much work to get it to work. And I told the hotel, I cannot exceed 20. If I do, then, I can't do that. So they said, well, how do you, I said, because you heard all the standard with the GSA, you gotta be careful of that. Plus, I'm working with students. They said, okay, sir, we'll do it this way. So I worked with the big boss all the way down. He says, this good. I said, that's perfect. And that's how we do it. So, I mean, if you want to, that's up to you, but it's under the rules.
We'll be there.
You'll be there? Okay. So I think 22, 70 in the class,
22 minus 3.
19, plus your 20. So 20 is a good number, so if we can't make it, everybody else can make it. Okay, perfect.
We have to be there, you said at 3:45?
240.
We're going to get there at 2:45.
Well, I'm gonna let you have it. Well, try to get the bulk of it there, even though we'll be sitting for an hour, because I just had them play so they can see it. Because if we don't show up, I can't get the radio. Like I said, I've been doing it for 7 years, and every class loves it, because it gets you a chance to talk, plus you're eating good, drinking good. I mean, and trust me, the waiter or waitress we get tonight, they're gonna be the best. Every time they come in, they see it, hey, don't worry about this, okay, we got you. So you don't have to leave them a tip, and that's why they like it, we tip them real well. But anyway, so we got a total of 20, is that about right? Okay, next thing I'm gonna walk you through is one of the things we have in Excel, because I assume all of you are Power Excel users, correct? Is that right?
On Excel, yes.
Okay, good. So you're all Power Excel users, so? No? Okay, so you're using Excel a little bit? Okay. Well, people that come in our class, most of them aren't, well, it's funny. It's kind of a trick question. Before I walk in, you're all powerful Excel users. When I walk in, they'll go, hey, I'm not very powerful. I said, no, you are. It's just that we go very deep into Excel. But I'm going to teach you a nice little philosophy how to write formulas. You probably heard the word nesting. We're going to do some nesting. We're going to do some in or outs. But we'll let Excel teach you. That's the key. If you're taught how to use it, or how to build it, then it's not so difficult. So what we're going to do is we're going to start you from the bottom. I'm going to give you a little demonstration and show you how Excel works. If you didn't notice, how many formulas do you think are in Excel? Take a guess. 1,000. He says 1,000. Infinity? Okay, there's a total of 400 Microsoft gives you right up front. 400 formulas. Let me show you. And what we did, we went ahead and printed them out for you out of 2010. here's the 400 formulas. There they are. Every formula in Excel, and over here to the right explains what it does. Converts a binary number to hexadecimal. I don't even know what half this, or 3/4 of what it means, but anyway. But it was interesting to read it. So this is all 400 of them. You got the left, the mid, the COUNTIF. So we give them all here to you. Okay. So let's look at a formula. Here's a spreadsheet. Comes out of reserves. And what this is, it's a fund status report out of reserves. Here's the question that the analyst gave us, and I couldn't give her the answer. I said, oh, that's hard. She goes, every section has a work center, okay? And the work center is at 810. But what people realize, that doesn't help them to convert this into a usable pivot or worksheet because it's only in one line. Now, it does cover everything below that, right? In order for this to be effective, they need the 810 to go all the way down next to the dollars. Does that make sense? So anyway, I sent it to my master Excel guy. I said, hey, James, man, take your time. I'll be here a week. Give it to me in a couple days. I'm not kidding. 3 minutes later, he sent it to me. He goes, sir, will this help? I go, no kidding. I said, how did you figure this out? He goes, sir, what I do is I look at an Excel sheet. You tell me wherever you saw a work center, you needed that work center to go down. So he explained to me, he said, sir, first thing I did, I ran a length on Excel. So let me show you what he did. So here's what he did. I'm going to hide this. So he told Excel equal LEN. So let me show you up here. Oops, don't want to do that. Okay, so let me get away from that formula. Oops, don't want to do that either. Okay, here it is. So you run a length. You ran an L equal LEN. You went to that cell, and he examined the spreadsheet. So he ran a length all the way down. He noticed where the 810 was, the work center, every one of it, there's over 40,000 rows now. I'm giving you a short version. Plus I take all the dollars out to protect the document. So what happens is he ran a length. He noticed during the 40,000 rows, everything that was a length 4 was where the work center was. So that was his first analysis. So this actually sheet was actually pretty easy. I thought I would have to nest if statements, but I went ahead, or I was going to do a VBA, but let me give you the easiest way. So the first analysis he did equal length. And what he found out is this. Okay. So there's the work center, A10. You go down further, and here it is again, 4. Now here's another reason he runs the length. Because with the naked eye, that looks like 3 positions, doesn't it? But they're all 4. Because every work center has A60 plus a space bar. So the first analysis he did, he said, don't get tricked by what you see. So he ran a length first. Then he said, sir, this formula is pretty easy. But then when he gave it to me, I said, oh, that is way too cool a formula. So here's his formula. So, in fact, it's going to be here. Let's take a look at this formula. So what he does, when you load up, and I'm going to show you a couple ways of doing this. Okay, so he says if length A13 equals 4, then bring back the result in A13, otherwise bring H12. That's why it was so brilliant the way he did this. And that's why I'm going to walk you through that. When you write an if statement, it's based on true-false logic. It's not difficult, people, because especially when you're explaining how to do it. Because if I train over hundreds of people how to write this. An if statement must have a true and have a false. So, but Excel will teach you that. That's what people didn't realize. I said, Lord, I said, watch it teach us this formula. So, I go to this formula. I said, teach me this. So there's your result, A10. So what we're going to do, let me shut this down. So I go here to formulas, and I tell you to evaluate the formula. And here it is. Okay, let me get it blown up so you can see it. If the length A13 equals 4, then bring back the result A13. Otherwise, go to H12, and I'll explain how that works. So the first thing the formula is doing is look for true. Okay? So I tell it to evaluate. The first evaluation it does, it says the length is A10, and it does equal 4. So what that means is saying, hey, it is 4, so it must be true. So as I evaluate further, 4 equals 4. So 4 equals 4, then the result is A13. Then it says, oh, then you're true. Let's bring the result of A13 back, and the answer is A10. Now that part I understood. Where James took it further, I said to James, how do you know when I drag the cell down that it will keep doing A10? He goes, sir, the first part is true, the second part is false. So what he did, and you can restart it. So I go to this next formula. A little bit different. Now H13 is the cell above. So let's run the evaluation on this one.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
What
Go ahead.
are we trying, what is the objective here? What are we trying to get to?
You want that A10 to go all the way down.
Why wouldn't you just copy and paste A10 all the way down?
No, but there's 40,000 rows. And there's over 1,400 different work centers. You see what I mean? So you would have to copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste, copy, paste. See, it's scanning 40,000 rows. So what it does, you run the if. So when it brings the A10 all the way down, so it sees a new one, it brings that in. Right.
So go A10, A60, A76,
Okay. So it does it all. The part that I didn't understand how James did, how do you maintain A10 all the way down to jump to A60? Because I said, James, the next line is that BPAC 72101, that's not A10. He goes, sir, that's where the false statement comes in. And when he explained that to me, I said, that's how you do it. He said, watch. Okay, so what he did, this formula, let's evaluate it. Because here it says A10. So A14 is equal to 4. Well, when you evaluate it, the length is 721.01. That's more than 4. That's 6. So 6 doesn't equal 4. So that makes it false. So it goes to the last result. I know you can't see it, but I'll just talk through it. Then it says 6 doesn't equal 4. That's false, right? So it takes the next part of the if, which is saying it's false. We got to take the H13, which is still A10. See how he did it? He looks to the cell above it. That's how he figured it. That is so smart. So you're telling the false to look above. He goes, yeah. I've taught this to a couple hundred people. They understand the logic. That's why we got to take our time. But I didn't know Excel had something in there to evaluate the formulas. So when people send me those tough formulas, I'll have some people that's 11 different formulas in one. I just run it through the evaluation. And I said, oh, that's how they're doing it. The key that I'm trying to pass on to you is go to formulas, evaluate formulas. And it'll walk you through what they're trying to do in the formula. That's the secret. Yes, guys.
Is there still a nesting limit?
64. 64. See, in 2003 it was 7. When they went to 64, we got real happy about that. So you can nest up to 64. Yeah, we'll show you that. We're going to do that.
And so is the point here so the end user, were they trying to filter all the lines? And
Yeah, they were trying to put all,
so that's why
and they were doing what he was saying. That's what they did. They went that first A10, they dragged it down until they saw the A60s, they dragged it. Because they were showing me what they're doing. I said, oh, I know there's got to be a better way. So I sent it to James right away. And he went ahead. And,
But wouldn't you still have to copy this formula all the way down the page?
yeah, but all you do is double click the corner, it goes out 40,000.
Oh, I guess.
You see what I mean? Because if you double click. Now, we show them how to do it, then we run the Visual Basic one. So as soon as they open the sheet, it did. But still, it's understand the logic of how it works. So now this is a regular length. Now here's the question somebody asked me. Well, Ed, that works good on here, but what happens if I go down here and these other projects are 4 positions and I only want the 810? I said, no, you're right. So we're going to show you another way of doing it, and that's where we get into nesting. So watch how we do this. So we go over here, and this is called nest. What we're doing here is we're, it's out of the way. So it's if within an if. We're saying if F813 equals 10 with the space, see the quotation, then bring back 810, otherwise check again. If 813 equals 860, bring a result back, otherwise the final answer is this false state, which is the K12. So if, end result. Okay, trust me when I say this. It's hard. If somebody, that's why none of the people that work for me, you cannot talk down to people. I fire them right off. Or I tell them you don't even work. I've had some of the smartest people and kids, and a few of my IT kids that were smart, but they talk down to me. I don't need that. But we're pretty smart. Well, obviously, yeah, go work somewhere else. We don't want you. Because if you can't translate the regular people how to do this, then you're no good to us. Plus, you got a bad personality. I don't want you. But the point is, if we take the time to slowly educate you, we get you started, we have a comfort zone, then we just kind of slowly move you up. Trust me, I've had some ladies in their 70s can dance all over anybody coming in because they were taught how to do it. If you take the time, not everybody works on the same speed either. So when I work with each person, now this is me talking, I can read your eyes. If you're going off, but then I lost you. And I want you to stay excited. If I lose you, then I'm going to change my tactic. Because my job is to make sure you understand how to do this on your own. Okay? So on this statement here, this is called nesting. You can nest up to 64. So what we did to show it, we're saying if 813 equals 10, make it 10. Otherwise, go to the next one. So this is trying to run a true statement here. If it doesn't match, run the next true statement. If that doesn't match, then bring the false in. Okay? So let's evaluate that. Here we go. We're going to go formulas evaluate. So it says, does A13 equal A10? Let's check. A10 does equal A10. So that's true. See, once it's true, it's already done. The answer is A10. See, they didn't go to the second if because it answered the first question. So when we teach this to you in a class, we break, and plus you're all on computers, you're doing it yourself too. This is kind of wild. But people, I'll turn them loose, I'll say, hey, okay, I need 14 if statements, which is nest it, and I'll turn them loose as I give you 20 minutes. But most of them are all better within 10. We got to serve, makes sense. See, as soon as everybody makes sense, then it's not so scary. You know how people send you appointments, go, oh man, I need Bob back. Okay? Really don't need Bob. You can do it yourself. Okay? See? Not too bad if somebody explains it to you. So that's what the if does. So it checked and found it, and you run through evaluation. Now if I go to the next cell, okay, if I run through the evaluation, A14 doesn't equal A10, see? 721.01 doesn't equal A10, so that's false, right? So it says false. Let's go to the next if. Does A14 equal A60? Evaluate. No, 7201 doesn't equal A60, so it's again false. So false, false. Evaluate again. Well, it's false, false. The answer is the cell above it, which is A10. Make sense for some of you? I don't expect you all to get it right away today. But that's what we're teaching national level. This is my biggest class. I have 1,100 signed up for this. So everybody wants to, and they know when we train you at the national levels, we're teaching. And these people are not low-ranking people. Some of them, a lot of them are SES. I'll meet afterwards. But they still like to know how to do these things, even though they have people doing it for us. Now the other one, so does that make a little bit of sense? Okay. Do also some of you do this? How many people use the arrow keys over here to go left and right? Anybody know a better way? Huh?
Like shift and repeat or something.
Right click, there it is, he gave you, who said right click? He did, right click. Because our workbooks have 160 plus tabs. If you left and right click, you'd be there all day. So what you do, you right click, what it does, it gives you a table of contents. See, watch. Well, we only got one here, but if I open a brand new Excel sheet, it will show all of them. Okay? Okay. Let's look at another formula.
I'm sorry, where did you right click at?
Here, let me show you. Here, I'll bring up a brand new Excel. See these tabs? And I'll do a few more. So let's add a bunch of these tabs, 140 of them. You right click on the arrows, it'll give you a table of contents showing you all of them. You know what I mean? And it'll show up to 20 on them. Then you have a, up and down. Okay? So you have that. Also, wow. Okay. Also, we have something, you saw the 400 formulas. We also have a right left. Now, what we're trying to show you here is I have data coming in. The problem is this. I'm trying to get to that D, the third position from the right, pull the answers back. The problem is the positions to the left vary. They can go from 8 spaces to 12 to 20, whatever. So we have to write a formula to get that position. Now somebody said, sir, you can do a mid. I said, you can't do a mid because it varies in the front. Well, sir, you can do a right. I agree, you can do a right, but I want that first position to the right, to the left. Oh, okay, got it. So they were showing me, I said, well, that's good. That's very good what you just did. You did a right, then you did a left. Well, let's bring them all into one formula. And the way Excel works, it works in or out. So the formula that's written here goes equal left, because I really want that first position of D. So it's working in or out. Before I can bring that in, I got to run a right. So I tell it to go right, pull the first 3 positions from the right, which would be D11. And while I'm doing that, now run the left to pull the first position. Okay? If I had you in the classroom, it would be a lot easier, but I'm only briefing it. So what we're going to do is we're going to run the left, right. And some of my formulas, I run 20 formulas, different formulas to pull your answer back. But we can do that. The key is always start small, and all of a sudden people are writing their own. So I'll go by somebody's desk and I'll say, oh, Mary, that is cool what you just did. She goes, check it out. Wow, you really did some nesting. But it was so cool because just a week earlier, she couldn't write a simple formula. But again, take the time, we educate you, we do it, trust me. Now this is really as hard if we take our time. So let's evaluate that. Again, that's why the whole portion of this training is about the evaluation. So we're going to run the left. I evaluate. See, it says left, but I'm running a right first. See, it works in or out. I found the D106W1 D11. I'm taking the first 3 positions. And the answer is D11. Now I'll run the next evaluation. Well, I got my D11. Now I want to run a left at the 1 position, and the answer is D. And it allows you to restart. So this whole portion of this briefing is about formulas evaluation. So when people send me their formulas, I'll evaluate it first, because they say, I had a lot of writing in this thing. You clean it up, I'll send it back to them. Wow, that's pretty cool. Okay. But they had to start from something. Does that make sense? A little bit? It's better explained to you than you just taking a formula, right? You've seen those formulas, that's mid, V lookups, horizontal lookups, all that kind of stuff. But if you evaluate it, it makes more sense. Who said they do vertical lookups? John, or somebody else? You do it too? You do it? Okay, you do V lookups. When you have a table that you're looking up, the problem with that is if you don't, when you have it looked up, you notice that you go down further in the cells, it hits the spaces when it's looking up, right? So I assume.
Or grab the most top data too. If you have to repeat, it'll grab the most current, which is the top. So you have to know that when you're doing it.
Right. What we tell everybody to do VLOOKUPs, you got to lock the cells in, make them absolutes, where you put the dollar signs.
Oh yeah, when you count the numbers and it will
Right.
copy down. Yeah, if you don't want anything to repeat or count for you, you put a dollar sign to the letter and number, and it'll keep those the same when it counts the rest.
Very good. And what we're talking about is making a cell absolutes. You make a cell absolutes, it won't trigger when the formula. So anyway, does this help a little bit about formulas? the key out of this training is evaluate formula. Also, what you can do is look at the formulas without kicking it. So here's where we go show formulas. So we go formulas, show formulas, and actually we'll display them. So we go formulas, show formulas, and see all the formulas. So that's another way we can evaluate people's writing. And we're showing another way of looking for true answers. Okay, this is one of our popular classes. Every time in fact, all our classes are popular. Paul and Josh, when you do their training classes, always packed. We try to have them once a week. This is at headquarters Pentagon at the Army level, so they're learning, they're doing really good, and the general's happy because all the people are analyzing them. They're not gathering data. She wants them to analyze. And so does General Martin. He wants you to analyze data. And this one was created, this next piece was created because of General Martin, because he mentioned he knows how to do goal seek. I said, wow, that is so cool, Colonel. So let's show you that. So let's see, is it FMSOC change? Fund status. Goal seek. Okay, goal seek. Goal seek is a way of doing what-if analysis. You learn how to do this, your flying mission, all that stuff. You can run what-if analysis to base your analytical answer. And General Martin's a big fan of goal seek. So what we did is to teach you, to walk you through what goal seek does. So here's a simple calculation of how payments work when you do a mortgage. And the formula is called equal PMT, and I'll walk you through it. Okay, so our seek here, here's our data. Our first, and I'll show you how it works, goal is to lower the monthly payment to $1,500. So I'm going to tell the goal seek to scan this, make my payment $1,500. Now calculate the goal seek to see if I lower it to $1,500, what's going to be my new number. If I lower it to $1,500, 8% in 180 months, it's going to lower it down to $156,000, all if I can borrow. Goal seek will calculate all that. Here's scenario number 2. Goal is to lower the payment to $1,500. Now calculate the goal seek for the new interest rates. So in order for me to borrow $200,000 by lowering it to $1,500, the interest rates must drop to 4%. See, again, you're using a what-if analysis. Now, people go, I can write a formula. It's not an easy formula to write to get to those answers because you got to use a little bit of algebra, which isn't hard, but if you don't know how to do it, you can't do it. And here's our final goal seek. Goal seek is to lower the monthly payment to $1,500, but now calculate based on the 8% interest. If I lower it to $1,500 on a $200,000 loan, how many months will it take me to pay it? It'll take 330 months. See, this is what-if analysis. Think of your flying mission, forecasting models. That's why people use goal seek. It allows you to grab the data on what-if analysis to calculate. Okay. Anybody? I know Josh used goal seek. Who else used goal seek? And the reason to use it?
I was just curious, is it a lot different from the solver add-in that you can use also?
Yeah, it's similar. This one is people like, I mean, the solver's good too. Very good. Goal seek's a little easier if you're taught how to use it. You know. It allows you to look at 2 data points and have the computer configure the new formula. And the cool thing, it doesn't touch the formula. Goal seek does not touch the original formula. So if I click in here, the 1500, let me show you. So here in the goal seek, my answer originally was 1911-30, C equal PMT. And we even walk you through how to do a PMT. And what we do is we put a minus sign in between the equal and the PMT to turn it from negative credit to debit. And we teach how to do that. And we teach how to hit the key buttons to do it. But anyway, so it allows you to, so when I run the goal seek on this, the formulas are exactly the same. But goal seek overrides on top of that to give you your answers. And that's why we want to teach our Air Force FMers how to do goal seek. So if I click in this formula here, you'll see it's still the same type of formula. Goal seek uses your formula, but recalculates your answers. So that's what you see in that. This is one thing we're trying to do with all of you, is that we even had a meeting on this. because a lot of us are data collectors. We know that. You know, we're collecting data all the time. You know, and then we talk about, okay, now we get them to where their data's there every day, 8 o'clock. Now we got to teach them again how to analyze that data. See, in other words, we get you there, but how are we going to forecast those models out? You guys haven't been forecasting models in years because you're constantly gathering. See, the key is, if General Martin walks up to Captain and says, Captain, based on your analysis, how much money do I need for that utility bill based on last 3 months? And I want it based on electric, gas, water, and heat. And he expects to answer that second. He doesn't want to wait, oh, sir, give me a couple of weeks, give me a week. Let me call that a DM. The point is, you should have been doing that already, because the data's in front of you. But based on his analysis, he realizes AC goes up, electric goes up during those hot months. But he also runs a 5-year forecast, you can see that. But that's what we got to get all of you doing, instead of, sir, let me get back to you. You know? So the data, now that's what scares people. You get the data in front of you, now what do I do with it now? Right? Well, that's where the analytical part comes in. That's when you start looking at it, that's when you start telling the computer forecast for me, run goal seek, you know, run models through, remember run some standard deviation through or something like that. But that's why our classes are full, because we got them out of the collection. Now we need to start analyzing. Okay? So anyway, that's goal seek. That's one of General White's. I like it. I was smiling because I said, wow, that's cool, General. That is really cool. So I said, well, sir, if we're going to do that, let's go ahead and teach them. So here's the instructions. And I'm telling you here, we're going to use the PMT to figure out the monthly payment. Now, these pictures do not match what you see on the cells because I used a camera a lot to write the instructions. And what I did is I clicked on that 200,000 on the interest rate of 8%. I had to divide it by 12 because we make 12 monthly payments in a year. Then we keep going down the thing. I keep walking you through all the steps you got to do. Then we go into goal seek. See. And here, I'm telling you to put a minus sign in there to turn it from a credit to a debit. So it looks like that. Okay. Is there any questions? Everybody still okay? Okay, good. Now, like I said, now here's what we got to do. We're going to break for lunch from 11 to 12. Okay, kind of a short lunch. Because we're going to really eat. Now, I will tell you, anybody been to the bowl yet? Good, so you know what's there. Okay. If anybody's in Italian food, they make it for you in front of you. So if you want shred or whatever, they'll cook it in front of you. When you walk, and I'll take you a little tour, because we're going to be the first ones to eat. People are going to be standing, you see the lines, and here we're hiding in the corner. As soon as 1 minute before we're hitting those lines, you do, oh, you know, say, oh, and I, don't worry about the crowd. They'll say, why do they get it? Well, we're special. That's why we got to kind of hide in the corner. But anyway, and unlimited drinks, whatever you guys want. So we've got to quit at 6. It gives us 2 hours. I think that'd be fine. Okay. So you'll be getting this, and that's goal seek. It's a what-if analysis, and we take you to the pictures, how to get to it, how to maneuver, and we tell it what cells we're trying to change to the value, and by changing this cell. And the cool thing about goal seek, it doesn't touch your formulas. It actually will leave your formulas in play, but it'll write over top of it to get you the goal seek answer. And again, we show you the different scenarios. We'll write it up. We'll show you the screens that come up, so on and so forth. Okay? Okay. Now, when we get into the, I think I might have mentioned this to you. When you get into different briefings, we also support the Army Guard. This is some of their front-end designs to kind of show you what you can do with graphics. This is their front page to their general, New Jersey. And what they do is they come up here, they click execution. Which one do you want? 2020, it jumps to it. See? This is all PowerPoint. There's no magic in it, it's just PowerPoint. If I want to go to commodity, I want to go to SAG, graph, directorate, appropriations, pick the one you want to go to, and you're right there. You have it print in black and white, print in color, and you just shut it down. Anybody in here use pivot tables? Oh, good. Everybody uses them? Oh, who doesn't use them? Just a few of you? Is there a reason why you don't use them, or was never taught how to use them? Never been taught, right? That's usually the common. Never taught?
I was taught, I was told.
You don't use them? Will you just use a regular spreadsheet?
Never had a big need to use them.
Okay.
It's too much.
Well, what happens is the reason the airports, all the DOD is trying to get you to use pivots, because it allows you to see the same answer over 1,000 different ways. It allows you to forecast model. See, when you use a regular spreadsheet, that's called one dimension. You got your answers. When you maneuver in a pivot, it allows you to keep moving the answers around and get different answers. It also does the goals for you. It'll do the 100% rule, so allow you to forecast your models out. So you can't do that in a regular stuff. But the problem is, if we don't teach you how to use them, it's just a big spreadsheet that maneuvers. So again, that's one of our popular classes. We walk you through how to create it from scratch. We actually have instructions. And once you get in using pivots, trust me, you won't go back to regular spreadsheets because it does give you so many different ways of looking at your answers. So let me show you what I mean by that. Here's Elmendorf. Well, let's go to 440th, I think. Okay, I don't know if this is hooked up, so bear with me on this. It is hooked up. What that did, what you just saw it do, is that when you opened the spreadsheet, it went out to the server and grabbed all their answers as of last night and updated their sheet within a couple seconds. We walk you through that. Now here's the difference. Here's a pivot table. You'll notice on their pivot table, based on their different projects, this is called stacking. They look at year 11, year 12, year 13, and the end of year positions. These are all locked positions. That's how you finish your books. So it allows you to analyze the last 3 years and look at current numbers. Okay? This is what we call 100% rule. What this does, it allows us, here, this screen right here, it allows us to base on what it sees, and let's do it a different way. Let's go ahead and turn off the, let's bring it all in. So I'm going to turn that off. I'll move this up. Okay. So the 100% rule, let me move this up, move the cost centers out. Okay. So based on the ruling, this particular project is running 27.52% of the total program, because it's always based on 100%. So what the model does, as you're maneuvering and changing your pivots, it's going to keep running your analysis, and it's going to tell you 27.52% of this total spending is based off of 72115. Yes?
Doesn't Chris already do that?
No. Can't do that. Chris will just give you percentages. This is based on a rule. See, this is part of the pivot tables. So we tell the tables to run a rule for us. Because a lot of times when you're briefing, somebody comes up to you and says, Gary. Sorry, Gary. Based on our total O&M budget, how much of it's T? Now, he doesn't want to hear it, money. How much of a percentage of this total program is running this project? And your answer would be 32%. But you could also get the number. But see, the pivot, as you maneuver those pictures, it keeps you recalculating on the fly. Again, it's analytical, so you're analyzing. Okay, so it's running 32% of the program, but if I bring the groups in, it's running 14% of OG. So you quickly get the percentage of running totals. And that's what the 100% rule is. Does that make sense? Okay. So when the wings I go to, when I sit with them, I say, okay guys, the reason I'm here, I'm getting you at a gathering stage. We're going to eliminate that altogether. We're going to teach you how to build the access database to retrieve all that data. We're going to walk you through step-by-step how to build the queries. We're going to teach you step-by-step how to build the macros, how to stack, and send the signals to an automatic pivot that's going to maneuver. As soon as you open the pivot, it's going to update the data. And in turn, it's going to create the graphics on the fly too. That's why we try to do everything in 5 minutes. So Now that we've done all the gathering, taken that out of the way, now we got to start using some tools to start modeling what we're trying to answer to the boss. Anybody use this a lot? Do a lot of you use freeze panes? Freeze panes? Okay. Freeze. Okay, as of today, try not to use those anymore. Okay? The reason I want you to use them is when you freeze a pane, say you're trying to, when you freeze, you almost take up like 7 rows, say for instance. 7 rows, right? But your answer is really on the 7th row. So what we do is we teach you how to do what we call split. So here, my answer is on row 13 here, but I don't have to take up 13 rows in order to see my data here. So I do what we call split, see it? This is a regular spreadsheet. See, if I froze, it would freeze all this, but if I split it, which is this little guy here in the corner, then I go down to row 13, I split my screen, and I can see my data. Then I can do a vertical split, move it over here to the left. So when I look at my other calculations, based on my current analysis, if I do a 5% cut against my program, this is my 5% cut after, and then the residual. You see? So what we're trying to do is eliminate any type of calculation, let the pivot do it for us. So we let the pivot make the cuts for us and then show you the residual of that cut. So that's why at the Pentagon we have our 48 columns, because we're analyzing data constantly. So all our columns are running calculations for us. And then that's why we do a vertical split, because what the split does allows us to keep the data to the left, and we just keep going across. See it? Anything you could dream of, you put it in the pivot, all the calculations, anything forecasting, 100% rule, cuts, pluses, you do it all in the pivot. That make sense? Then Paul does a real neat little piece where he teaches you how to build the pivots. Okay, let's take a 7-minute break. Let's come back at 25 till we can. We're going to go get some lunch.
Are they open to the airport?
Yeah, I can't. I try to take some of my buddies in.
Oh, there.
Yeah, I make them dress as being close too. I can't have to walk over this.
That's all we
Yeah, in the Army, we only allow maximum 14 times. So we got like 6 Army people going in the hallway. So we see the airport guys, they're all sitting close.
Part of it's Brazilian and the other part is team.
Got my mesh shirt. Two socks and pretty conservative. That's what Evo is around here.
I wanted it. I know it's great. It's not gonna work. It never has worked.
The bother you. I mean, it does, but sometimes that bothers me. Like, no, what's that?
Like with those examples versus like special
Oh, physical, yeah.
Yeah.
We do a lot of these.
Yeah, I mean, well, visually, I think they would use something
Yeah, physical is a little different. You don't, yeah, usually the physical, they get to excel. Usually when we get a physical.
Yeah, so the reason why I asked about the, hopefully, because when you first heard about, oh, that just sounds like, Charlotte Solverdale.
Yeah.
Solverdale's like, different where you can do it a lot more.
Yeah, you can. Both seeks a good way to get people started.
Yeah, but it definitely seems like quick, like,
Yeah.
almost like I said, so. Yeah.
And the cool thing, it doesn't change the point. So you can,
Yeah, I mean, like, on a typical, like, park pivot, you have to training, right, so you don't want it to occupy.
Well, you don't wanna waste
25%,
space. I mean-
25% of it on time.
But anyway, that's,
That's why.
you can see when it does calculations.
Yeah, but I mean,
When manually calculates and it ends up doing it.
My dad loves it.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
let me ask you,
Yeah, I
you
didn't know
can
that.
have those
I didn't know
little
that.
things there.
That's why I said, teach it to you in class. Kind of, let me show you in class. They giggle. That's it.
Really,
Because, as we all, you don't know where to get the answer. So, you know, it's easy to show which most of us.
The way,
On the golf course?
So has a lot of
it's the way
great
we
functions.
bring under, like,
Yesterday afternoon and evening.
everybody
I
has.
drove by.
I have a team of 35
Well, I know
people.
the was gone for a week.
So when I send an email
Tell
out,
them to get you a thinking
You've got
about.
filters on there.
they're good.
You know, your tag, your call center,
All
whatever.
right, we'll say 15.
Say that.
That's what
Oh, no,
I'm
GS.
doing. Because you got, you know, usually run.
They enjoy it, but they know they can.
One person
They want to be here for a couple of minutes.
Because whenever you run, Saturday one, you will run another.
Yeah, I work with Captain Hyde.
Yeah, Tim Gurney
So
and
what happened
also
there
There's
is,
a young guy.
Robert.
there's been, first period that's
What happened? Yeah. The problem, yeah, the problem we had is that as soon as I trained, we left. So of course the officer, because I'm one of the people who's going to be there, so at least we got a couple of civilians. They picked up early, so it's still a little bit, you know, the military picked up.
filtered on.
But the lady was, she's really good anyway.
Have it say,
Yeah, Kivetsu is one who's doing.
Right.
Zero F.
She's good. She was there during all of
You
it.
just missed that program.
I wish the captains would have been help. As soon as I trained, they were gone. I go, where'd they go? Oh, they got deployed. Oh, so I always try to at least get 2 civilians,
Yeah,
at least 2.
I mean, we were always trying to get them to go to, Microsoft.
You only see
They're
that.
sweethearts. I mean, I love them.
Oh,
I'm
they're
so
great.
excited to go out there again and see them to work with them.
Yeah, and ladies, yeah, we're pretty good. We have Mochi. My wife. I'm told
Right, but that's what I'm saying, like,
Here,
there's one.
Steve. Steve, what was it? Yeah. But anyway, he said, that's one child. And my wife would love that. I can't stay put.
Where?
I remember, I only had like 5.
But
I was glad. The 2 captains, yeah, the 2 captains, they were moving fast. We actually slowed it down. She spoke up.
What you can do is, run this program here. And then
Yeah,
you
she's
can
actually now working on a team and another individual me.
especially it's called current status of funds. So if you download it in the morning and then download it at 4 o'clock, it's good. And go to save it to current status of funds.
Right.
And
Oh, man. Yeah. Yeah, I've gone back to the same thing all the time. Because people, because once the general has it, he's not going back to that.
Yeah.
We used to bring our wings in. Bring it in for a week and a half. Sir, we gotta work on it. I said, no, you get money. Then keep going. We'll find out and hard work. We brought all the way back to you. It was a yearly tradition. Every year the ballers come in and get the second. Oh. But, yeah, we used to. General Martin, he's then it was 5 or 6 or 6, one started to 6. I worked from 6.
Yeah, but like, they have, like, they do background checks, they have it.
Yeah.
Work hard, right.
I tease them. I'm in the instructions. I just started to do
Everybody's.
Right, but everybody.
Oh,
I think that's what a lot of people like.
Yeah, they do have Right.
I think you need it.
Yeah, exactly.
Fritts used to download
You need it.
Oh,
I
yeah.
never worked for him, but
to Excel, Excel,
and I never met him.
spreadsheet, sources. So exactly what I will do
If you want to pay for it, she's I'll pay for it.
this job, right? And so you can,
But I'll protect
and you can pull it by name. So that you can't do anything.
So in other words,
I always have to class work back.
So that's what you do. You can say,
Let's go to dinner.
okay.
Their head went to that.
1 to 0, see what I have. So then,
TekSouth hiring?
No, we always are. Yeah, we're growing so much. We got
35 team members. All our, like I said, we have 14. It's like that conversation. Start money before you Wow. I think the reason they like it. Sorry, plus we elaborate every year. Bring all their
like 32.
Yeah. So we bring people in. Exactly. We're gonna need 3 people.
Sorry.
Really interesting.
The 95.
I've been around the idea of going back to public practice. So
That's
CPA on here, Ernst & Young before I came to the Air Force.
let's put
And
it
did that, and going on for a corporation. And I'm not sure what the match on, but
That's what I said.
Right now,
That's when I first looked at it. It's like, I could have just.
they know they can go back. How many years leaving?
Right. That's really all.
I've been with the Air Force for
When I was in
4 years.
Okay, so you passed it.
whenever things came back,
And like Joshua, he used to be 15. He's only 26.
I could sit here and drink all I wanted, but I couldn't drink all I
But they enjoyed it. Everybody.
So it's kind of work for them.
I get engaged.
Oh,
It's really easy to just get disenfranchised with the whole thing.
Imagine having 34 colleagues that are just like this. See, so when somebody asks a question, send an email or answer start coming back, just, hey, John, thanks, man. We don't have an outlet like that.
We have some contractors that are contracted by Fritts Waterhouse to do fire assessments. They were going through these big spreadsheets manually looking to isolate unique numbers.
Yeah, there you go. Okay, we just started going. Coordinating lunch. Hey, I never did talk about what I gave you guys. This is like a mark. But mainly, people like this because it's a magnifying. Now, how many times have you been at your desk and go, I just can't see that. You don't want to act like you're old.
Crap out of that.
You know what I mean?
Eloy.
Yeah, good. No, that's what I mean, so. Yeah, there you go. So that's what it was, the magnifying. The little booklet is just simply a little 50-page booklet to write those notes down. Anyway, you guys gotta, that's where we're past at the national level, so you guys gotta kind of we just, in fact, they just came in yesterday, or Tuesday, so I'll hopefully, I don't think I came. Okay, before we go any further, I forgot to pass these out too. What these are, now, when you open these pens up, you're going to see a flap.
Sorry, Gary. Oh, well, I'm getting one if you're on your turn.
All right.
Go on.
Are you having trouble seeing
Yeah.
from back there? You do a whole bit.
Okay, what you do when you open the pen up, you're gonna see a flash, just some Microsoft tips for you. You know how some of you did say magic? If you open the flash. Okay. Yeah, there you go. Oh, it broke? It's right.
Hey, it's just Big Navy on here.
Yeah, there you go. Anyway. So now you guys got a pen.
We have to change it soon.
I know we do. We do E tips and D.
We won't have eats anymore.
That's right. Well, yeah, you got
We're gonna have iPods. Yeah.
Okay, welcome. You know how some of you go to National PDI, get that little bag, you go there, counter. You don't quite have enough to get a bag.
Yeah, you should.
Okay. So let's kind of get your attention. Okay. So what we're gonna do is break for lunch probably pretty soon, but we gotta be back at 12. We gotta start sharp at 12. That gives you 2 hours to teach you the graphic design. Trust me, every class wants to do that. Not only that, we got to set up your DCO account. I'm going to walk you through how to set up the DCO account.
Will we meet down there?
Yeah, that's right. Down in the, now we're going to do hands-on. And then we're going to start doing some magic, and you're going to do it. Okay? So here's the 2 big objectives. To set up your DCO account first, and I'm going to walk you through the graphic design. And when I walk you through that, trust me, you're going to love it because anybody ever heard of General Flowers? Okay. This is so funny. Back in 98 or 99, I was a contractor then. And he goes, and I was working up in the engine room. Anybody's been to ACC, that engine was 24/7. And he goes, Ed, you know, because he's briefing a 4-star. He comes back from his briefing, usually between 6 and 7 p.m. He said, Ed, take your time. You get 100 grafts by tomorrow morning. Well, where am I going to go? He said, but take your time though. I said, oh, okay, sir. Yeah, I just love to stay at midnight, you know, so that's how we got so good at it. Because we also had families. So we got so good at it, we were done in 5 minutes. But here's the key. We couldn't leave beforehand. So we stand and watch his car. As soon as he took off, we all scattered right behind him. Man, thank goodness he never came back. Because he would have caught us. Because we were gone. So, hey, is he gone? No, shit, must be talking to somebody. So we sit there with our bags ready to go. As soon as he came up, we run like ants. Scatter out. And in the morning.
Wouldn't you be happy that he knew you guys could do it before?
No, because it gave us more work. We just got real good at it. But when we got so good at it, we wanted to share how we were able to do that. Because what happens is, again, you know, a lot of things, a gentleman asked about vertical lookup. We have instructions to walk you through that. There's a couple key components in vertical lookup you got to be careful of. You can always make that table you're referencing an absolute reference. If you don't, the formulas go down and then it'll lose it. So we lock those cells in so we run the V lookups. We run vertical lookups, then we also use access to run against the table. Now we run against tables. Here, let me show you an instance. So in other words, when we teach you access, most people we teach access never even heard of access, or heard of it, we're scared to death of it, right?
Right.
Okay, because, you know, if you don't, again, we don't take the time to show you. Well, here's the 440. I just left them. This is our access database. Okay, looks innocent enough. Here's our tables, and here's the queries they wrote. Now, all these people couldn't write access to save their lives. So, the way we teach you from scratch. I bring nothing. In fact, when I show up to people to train them, they know I have nothing. They go, sir, there's something you need? I said, no, it's all knowledge. So we open up access, and we take you step by step how to do each of these procedures. You do it. I never touch the computer. And we do it over and over and over. It's repetition, right? I had this one young lady from Elmendorf, when I was a pickup, I was mentioned Colonel Martin, General Martin. We brought all the wing operations in for FM tools training. And the reason we brought them in because when I first got there, I was fortunate enough to meet General Martin, Colonel Barnett, Colonel Mullins, and Major Kuhn. And Major's job was to give our 4-star all these unfunded from all our wing operations, the top 100. Can you imagine that drill? I mean, he had books that thick, and he's handing it to a 4-star who has to look through all these pages. You know? So when I arrived there, he goes, "Ed, do you have any technology?" And I said, "Well, I currently don't, but let me look at what you're doing, and let me call some of my buddies up." We took all those books and we threw them out the door. We just got rid of them. When we finished the product, it was a desktop. It was on his desktop. It was an Excel workbook on it. We ran we call it baseball scoreboard. So when he clicked, it triggered the device. He wanted to fund this. It sent it up to the dashboard, and also cut funding documents and make graphs on a one click. We were able to do this back in '98. So I'm sorry, 2000. So our 4-star user, he executed almost $300 million from his desk. The problem we had, he had so much fun playing with it that he would click and he would unclick. And, oh, geez, we just send that funding document. Now we had to bring it back. So then we said, okay, here's a rule. As of midnight, he stops. So I thought, okay, no general gets up at 2 in the morning. So I came at 2 in the morning and worked on the tool. Well, he was hot because he couldn't get the tool because I took it away from him. And Colonel goes, "Who's in the office?" I said, "Oh my gosh, Colonel, it's me." He goes, "What are you doing?" I said, "The general's still awake." He's awake 24/7. So we had to make provisions so I could do maintenance on it. But the cool thing was, he hit a button that would run a scoreboard, cut the funding, and create the graphs on the fly. And he was doing it from him pushing the button, and his PowerPoint was showing. So the reason I'm telling you that is that's the things that you can do. You look at currently what you're doing and see if we can automate it, teach that. Now, I don't personally get on your computer to touch anything. I let you do it. I just say, okay, let's take our time. You do right click, let's do this. Left click, let's write this formula. As we're writing it, and we're explaining to you what it's doing. Maybe a count if or count A or whatever. Sum if or sum. Anybody ever heard of sum if test? Very powerful formula. One of the most powerful formulas in Excel. It actually will calculate a spreadsheet on the fly based on the sum of s. And I can show that to you. But here, so here's an Excel access database. And we teach them how to build all that stuff. And we'll go ahead and write macros. We'll go in here, start writing some visual basics. We teach how to write visual VBA. So here's what they wrote on their own. See? VBA stands for Visual Basic for Application. It's basic writing. But again, if you take the time to teach people how to do this, they can do it. Anybody can do this. Okay? Yes.
What is it used for?
Public function is a real powerful way of, say you're trying to pull a group or a wing, and you say MSG equals this cost center, you know, like 30, 10, 10, or whatever, right? The reason we teach how to write in public function, because when you write the if and else if statements, you can never pull the same answer twice. So your answer is always going to be perfect. So if in one of my statements I said MSG equals 30, 10, 10, say it's my first statement, and my second statement goes OG equals 30, 10, 10. Well, since I pulled it first, number 2 won't pull anymore. So hey, it's gone. See, that's why people like to write in public functions. But when we teach you, because they were scared just like you were, you know, I'm going to learn what? And I said, ma'am, in fact, the one that gives me the goofiest look is the one I put them on the keyboard. She goes, oh, this is way over my head. Well, our goal is to get it to your head. And next thing you know, she wouldn't give up the keyboard. Oh, no, I'm going to keep practicing. Yeah. And that's how we do it. Now, one lady I mentioned earlier, she was at Elmendorf. She came to learn because we bring all our wings in. I walk in the first day, and she's crying her eyes off. I go, oh, my, you know how men are uncomfortable with women crying, especially when you don't even know them. So I walked in the room and, whoa, I didn't do anything. So I walked out, and I said, Colonel Martin, a young lady from Elmendorf, what's wrong, man? Why aren't you in there training? I said, I can't, she's crying. What'd you do? Of course, he goes, what'd you do? I didn't do anything. I don't think I did. I just walked in the door. I go, whoa. So I left. So he walked in, kind of peeked, and she is crying. So one of our ladies, Betty, came in. I'll take care of it. Betty walks in. Is there a reason why you're crying? Yeah, because I was sent out here to learn all these tools. I there's over 200 graphics, all this stuff. And there's no way I can do it. That's why she was crying. She didn't think she could do it. So then I found out, I said, oh, now that's better. I thought something beat her up or something. So anyway, I walked in there, I told her, listen, the first 2 hours If you feel like this is over your head, we'll send you home, we'll have Mr. The gentleman send another person. But he picked you for a reason, so I'm assuming you're pretty good. So you go, okay, 2 hours. I'm not picking this up in 2 hours. You're gonna send me home, and then no, we're gonna send you home. Within 15 minutes, she was on her way. Because we made it easy for her. Because, and here's another thing. I met her husband at luncheon on Thursday, and I never met her husband. She goes, are you Mr. Fritts? I go, yeah. Well, I'm Sally's husband. Oh, no, I have another issue. You know, something going. He goes, no, nothing there. I just want to tell you what's going on since I've been here a week in Honolulu. My wife never talks in her sleep. She's been talking every night. I just want to know what she's talking about. What's pace special, pace lane? Oh, yeah. You got to do that 1,000 times. Wow. So I say, what she's talking about is what she's learning. Because I made her do it over and over and over. You know, best way to learn, right? Over. Because I would go, okay, you ready to do, oh yeah, pace special, pace lane. That's the end you learn. See, that's what I'm trying to read in your eyes. Once you pick it up, then I know I can move to the next step. Now, sometimes I'll make you do that pace special, pace lane 1,000 times. You know where you're going. Because the key is to get you to learn to feel comfortable. Now, a lot of people we trained in the past have turned into best FM tools designers because they have the skills now. But that's our goal for the Air Force, to get all of you to that level. Can you imagine, I'm not saying this class, but imagine a week-long training of this, where we go in that lab, we sit on that chair, and we start learning. Exactly. Then you can take it back to your job and start applying those practices. Like the gentleman asked about vertical lookup. We easily bring that up on the board. Let's all learn as a class what he's trying to do. Just do a VLOOKUP and show you the easiest way of getting to those answers. Or how to do formulas. And so this is VBA. Now this is like sort of an easier wing, one of our best operations. They actually, 4 of our operations we trained, won the DoD awards, which we're always proud of, because that's what we try to do, get people at a level. Now this one's a little more advanced, and the reason it's advanced is because of the major that's there. She's won several awards, but again, it's just, we're running a compact on this. Her name is Major Mazza, and she's a great designer, but I met her as a young captain. We train her on all FM tools, now she can write circles around people. But when we have 100 of those people, hundreds of them. What she did, she told the Access database to compact on repair. Now this is her database, and you will see it's a little more extreme than the normal. See? We teach him how to write in SQL. Now, obviously, if you get this at your office, you're going to get scared to death, right? I can't write that, but I can copy and paste like the rest of you. That's all it is. See, Microsoft has a built-in mechanism. When you start writing, that's why Mr. Gates is worth $70 billion. As you're writing in Excel, Excel is calculating, it's writing stuff for you behind the scenes. And that's what happened in Access. When they're writing queries, it's typing all that code behind the scenes. And when we finish the query, we open up, copy, paste. I'll let Microsoft do all the writing. It'll make more sense this way. So let's say, I'll show you what I mean. So I'll go create, query design. We're going to do a query. Of course, I picked the biggest one, so let me let that come in. But what happens is, as I'm writing the query, Microsoft will write the code behind the scenes. It actually does it all for you. Just like in Excel. You know, people have taught how to write macros in Excel by letting Excel teach them. So say I go here, I go data. I think maybe it's review. Let me find it. Oh, here it is. So I'm going to tell it to record the macro. Scott O'Hara wrote the first beautiful ODL tracker, and he wrote all the code. He's a regular FM guy, but he learned how to write by using Excel. Here's what he did. He said record macro 1. Let's put an A in here, hit enter. Okay, I'll put a 0 up here. So 0, I'll put an 8 here. So if I'm going to write a formula to, so I'm going to equal if, I'm going to say if A1 equals 0, make it 0, otherwise let's divide it. 8 into a 1. The reason we do that, so we don't have, you know how some of you see that divide by 0 error? So by writing that formula, I never get the error and it's 0. So I'm letting Excel record all that. And I said, okay, I'm done recording, so let me stop it. Okay, then I hit Alt F11 and I wrote the code. Okay. So what he did, and a lot of people do it, like you do copy and paste, they see what Excel does. So they go, oh, that's what Excel's doing. So that's how people write their own macros. They start to figure it out. They go, oh, so if I do this, that's what it does. It does a range. You see what I mean? Does that make sense to you? So you'll see people teach themselves by using Excel to teach. They'll write their own formulas. That's why you see some people, hey, I'll do a macro for you. What they're doing, they know how it works. So they start recording, they say, oh, that's an active cell dot formula AR1C1. You know, just they start applying that. Does that make sense? So that's one of our classes, how to write macros. How to record. Imagine in your mind a week's training of that. I think you'd be pretty good when you get back to office. Pretty doggone good. And see, the reason why people believe in what you're learning, because there's no cost as far as systems. There's no system involved, it's just knowledge. Now, I will tell you, a lot of wings I go to, I get stopped at the front door, IT gets hold of me, and said, sir, I hear you're here to build a new system. Yeah, I'll show you. They go, okay, show me what system you're doing. I'll just open up PowerPoint and go, that's your system. And what am I here? I said, oh, no. But I get that a lot. Because they think I'm building a new system. Then they find out I'm just using Microsoft, right? And I'll never get stopped at the front door using Microsoft. Right? Okay, so we're going to quit here in a couple minutes. Any questions so far?
The Alt F11, would that work in Access as well?
Absolutely. Very good. Yep. So what happens is, it's going to compact again. So I'm very proud of the people that learned all this because we had 7 of them out of Afghanistan. All 7 of them had FM tools training. They built the general attachment. We got 7 people who know how to do this. Of course, it made us shine as an Air Force component. Like, wow, you guys are good. Army didn't look good. But the nice thing, our officers trained on it. And then I got a phone call. Hey, when you get back, can you help me out? So that's what. Okay, any questions? Okay, so the key is a small lunch, right? We got to start right at 12. Now, this is really important. I can't start till all of you are back, okay? Also, here's what I need. Once we get in there, I can't have you on email. Because again, I've got to train the class based on the slowest person. And people are in emails, that's going to slow us up, and he's going to back me up. It's not fair for me to keep moving forward. I want everybody in the class to learn how to do this. And like I said, we're going to set DCO first, then we're going to go right into graphic design. And when we start doing the PowerPoints, I think you're going to really like how to design. We do an overlay. We do X, Y axes. See, we're going to try to teach you how to do these graphics that might have been taught before, and we're going to teach you how to do them automatically. So imagine we start to drill. Okay, Captain, you've got 5 minutes to build 100 fries. 3 minutes each time. That's what I want to get you to. And it's all the shortcut secrets. We're going to do an odometer. Because some of our commanders like to see a fuel gauge. I don't know why. The main thing is, now 4 of you already set up. It wasn't really that difficult. Some of you are ahead of time. You guys got in. So here's what we got to do. Okay, in order to get into DCO, let's get to the internet. We're all going to do it together. We're going to go www.dco.dod.mil. Yeah, I see right. www.dco.dod.mil. Once you get that screen, I'll let everybody get there. Once you get there, you're going to hit accept. Some of you already hit, which is good. Okay, once you get to that screen, you're going to try to sign in, see if it reads your CAC. And if it tells you, it should give you an error and says, no, you're not registered. That's okay. Because then we go down to the bottom, where it says, create an account with CAC. Well, let's see if you can get in there. It's your set.
I know you usually do passwords for different DCOs.
Yeah, but I use DCO a lot. How do you use a lot with?
Okay, let's make sure we're all on the same.
Because we do a lot of meetings.
Some of you will get in the DCO where it's asking, but it doesn't recognize your CAC card. You could have got a new CAC or something. So, Steve,
Oh, this account already exists.
okay, some of you, okay, let's talk about that now. So some of you had DCO and your password is expired, okay? Now, what I'm just gonna try to do for this session is just try to get the people who've never been in to get registered. And for the rest of you, what we have to do, we have to send an email back to DCO to get your CAC reset back up again. But for all the new people who got in there, it looks like a lot of you got in that first screen where you register. Fill out all the answers to that block. So let's fill in, for the people who got that register screen, that's the most important screen because that's the one you can put all your information in. Now for civil service, you'll notice there's no GS ranks other than SCS. So you either Mr., Mrs., Miss, something like that. Okay, but, you said right. Ooh, we got to change it, but that's okay. Now let me explain to you when your password expires. Your password expires, your DCO still works. It's just you have to use a CAC to get in there, but if it expired, like his account, we had to send an email to DCO to have it reestablished.
Mine was.
Yours was like perfect.
My password expired.
Well, now it does. We'll just go back to my Okay, so for now, everybody that's in it, let's just register the people that are in it. Yours read.
It read, but, I don't know.
Well, the key is your CAC not associated with DCO.
That's mine.
Right, but it doesn't recognize.
Okay, oh, so we're like, go back and do the other thing.
Yeah, we got it.
One was from 2009, one was from 2009.
It accepted it. There it's created. Okay, so remember, it's going to be 15 to 20 positions. What I help the people with, we use the first name, just took the first initial. So let me show you what I mean by that. Okay, so my first name's Edward or Ed, so I got a capital E. Last name is Fritts, so I went lowercase. Then I put a $ for 3 positions. Then I just put 11 zeros all the way across and finished with a 1. Okay, then that way when you change your password, the only thing you do is change the last position. Does that make sense? It's easier, people like that. Now you can do 007, but you got to remember that thing. And then what we do is, when we're at hotels or something, we can log their DCOs. Okay. Now, like I said, most of you have been guests or gone into DCOs, correct? Yes. Okay, yeah, where you go into somebody else's DCO. What we want you to do is have your own account so you can establish anybody in the world. So I'll work with people in Africa, embassies. They just click on my signature block, they come right to me. The cool thing about that is they know nothing of DCO, but they can click on the link and they come right to us.
Where does it show your DCO link, like what my DCO link is?
You don't have one yet unless you establish.
I've already done a tab, but I don't know where to find mine.
Let's see.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
So what am I missing here? You allow me to go forward.
Okay, hang on. It says your password is too short. It's got to be 15 to 20 characters. It must be a capital letter, a lowercase, or a special character.
I'll put it in the code.
Okay, and then set, see, when it's a note, it's telling me. They're all required. Let's see if you got it. Oh. Air Force. Saying something.
I don't want to put Tom here. So then I create my own.
See, usually when it's red, it's hard to
See, I'm trying to get everybody to that screen where it says create meeting, but we're not gonna do, we're gonna do it together. Everybody there? Everybody there?
Create meeting? Is that what we're on?
Huh?
You said go to create meeting.
Create meeting. Now, when you get to create meeting, everybody go ahead and go to create meeting, and you want to do new meeting. And let me show you what I'm trying to get you to. When you go to new meeting, okay, we'll look at my screen. Let me get to the new meeting.
Do my questions.
Yeah, answer all 3 questions.
So after you answer the questions, what did you click on?
Just submit.
I did, well, I mean, after I did that.
Oh, close it all the way out and come back in again. Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure.
I keep getting, please provide valid bags for required fields.
Right, what it's telling you, you don't have 15 positions in your,
I don't have what?
15 positions for your password. It just happened to,
Just happened to me.
yeah, so we counted all the way out. He was 1 short, so it's telling.
I got 22.
You cannot have 15 at once.
Oh,
You got too many.
Yeah, you got too many. Yeah, you got 1 that counted short, 1 too many. And everybody else is in the middle.
Create meeting,
Hey.
what you said?
Yeah, go to meeting, create meeting. Stay right there. Okay, so for all of you, you're at this screen here. Let me show you something if I can get your attention. Well, let's let him finish up. Okay, we're in the new meeting, and this is very important. When you get to this page, the first line says meeting name. It's simply your first name, space bar, last name, space bar, meeting. You can put that in the first block where it says meeting name, and also in the agenda. So put your name in the first block and then agenda. Leave the second block alone for now. So let's do that.
So how did you get to that?
Create meeting.
Right there.
There you go. There you go. First name, space bar. Don't put any ranks in there unless you're a general. Because you know, you put math stars, you make seniors and that kind of stuff. So just first name, space bar, last name. Okay. You could, but again, see, that's what we're talking about. That's what he was saying. Use 1 URL from now on. Because what happens is your signature block will stay intact. So say somebody hadn't seen you in 4 years. They still got your URL. Click to get right to it. Yeah. So that's why for NCOs, only a person like General Martin or General Dyson, they can go to EE and get away with it. The rest of us, especially seniors and masters. Unless you're a chief now. And you're pretty safe there. Okay, so the first block and third block, we have your first name, spacebar, last name, spacebar, meeting. First and third, right? In the second block, the custom URL, you want your first name, last name together without the word meeting.
Capital.
Capital on the first part of your first name and capital on the first part of your last name. Put them together, get rid of the spaces. And what will happen is when you finish, down the lower right-hand corner, you're going to see something called Finish Meeting. Click on that, that'll send a signal to their warehouse to make sure nobody else has that name in the warehouse. And that's how you get established.
First name, last name, and then meeting, or no?
No. Second line, no. It's just first name, last name. Then you hit finish, click finish, and once you hit finish, what will happen is that, did it go?
Yeah.
Okay,
That's fully
good.
completed,
So that means all of you have your own personal accounts now.
so just hit okay.
Just hit okay. Then what you do, you go back out, you come back in, you go right to your meeting and send it to these. Now you notice that all of you, when you hit finish, you got a URL. Do you see it up top? See that URL, lady? Yeah, there it is. Copy that URL that you have, and that's what we're going to attach to your signature block of your Outlook. You see? So you just type my DCO URL, And it's always on your signature block.
Oh, yeah.
No, he didn't say to, I just put it in there. Copy it for now.
He didn't? Oh, yeah.
He
It's
said,
different.
you see it, or an answer, a copy, and tell us what to do with it.
That's all I did, just email it.
Oh, no, we're gonna go on here. Okay, so did everybody get their permanent meeting? You notice the URL? Okay, that's your permanent URL. So let's talk about that a little bit. So if you add it to your signature block, now, the only thing is I'm broadcasting out to the Center of Excellence. I was gonna bring up the URL, but I'm actually using it already. They already listed, so what we're gonna do is a little test. We're just gonna pick 2 people, and unfortunately I can't bring it to the big screen, but we're just gonna kind of play a little bit. We'll use Susan and what's your name? Jessica. So let's pretend how this is gonna work. So Jessica, now Jessica has sent Susan her URL. Okay, so let's email her the URL. So she's gonna send you an email, Susan, just to show you how this is gonna work. Okay. Now, what's going to happen is that Jessica's going to send Susan the URL. Now, Susan's never touched ECO. Just think of that in mind. She's never touched it. She's going to click on that URL. What's going to happen is that when she clicks on it, it's going to ask her, okay, you're coming to me, you're coming to Jessica. Then she comes in with a guest. You know how you hit the radio button for guest? I'll send a signal to her. Can you send it in? Okay. Now, what we're going to do here, we're going to have to go to our meeting setup. So click enter meeting. Now, when Jessica enters the meeting, I know it's kind of awkward to do it this way. Click yes, and all our instructions, we tell you where to click yes, yes, install. That's kind of an awkward word. I wish I could make this big, but in fact, I know it's kind of crowded. If anybody kind of look at Jessica, can you come on over here just? I'd rather have it up there, of course, but we can't. So just to show you how it works.
Yeah, I need to be over there.
So Susan, you say where you're at.
Yeah. I don't know if I'm sitting too loud.
Susan, have you received your email? Did you receive your email? And you came as a guest.
I was recording right now.
Click on her URL. Yeah, so what happens is, she's getting in line. Now, when Jessica gets in, she's going to go to share my slot back here. And she's going to select desktop and hit share. Now, if you have dual screen, it'll show up. Now, it went back here, so click on that. Now, what's going to happen is, did you get it yet? Jessica, click yes. So what Susan's getting, she has to install soft first, and the settings yes. Okay. Click on Susan. Now it's installing. What's going to happen? You can hear she comes. She hits accept. Now tell me what you see, Susan. So what's happening is she's seeing your screen, right? She's seeing your screen. Now what we're going to do, Susan, what we're going to do is she's going to make you a presenter, and I'll explain why. So make presenter. The reason you offer to that is it allows you to touch your screen. Not yet, not yet. Okay. Now Susan, you should have got a message in the upper right hand corner. Let her in, let her touch it.
They start?
Yeah, start. Now, Susan, happy over. Oh, did you get started?
Yeah.
Sharon.
Yeah, you gotta
I got people. Now, Susan, do me a favor, open up Excel for me. Open up Excel.
Oh, do I have IR? Yes, right.
So you want to log in. See her Excel. Okay, so you see Susan's machine. Now, what she's going to do, she's going to request control. Now, Susan, you had a message come on your board. Please grant it to her. Request consent. Now you're in.
Oh, hey, yeah.
You gave him permission, honey.
Share something or what? Oh, and then you say on the screen.
Okay, anyway.
Yeah.
Exactly. Okay, that was kind of barbaric way of doing it.
You got that wrong.
So now you have to wonder what
Okay, here's the awkward part. Jessica's still broadcasting. She's still seeing Susan's machine. Now, she owns the DCO, right, because it's coming to her. What Jessica has to do is, now let me just tell you what the powers of DCO is, and Captain Wright's really good at DCO. You can record a DCO, so if you're doing a DCO, you can record it. The lower right-hand corner of a DCO, you probably noticed when you upload files. I upload up to 2 gigs of files in that lower right-hand corner. So as I'm having a meeting, people are downloading as we're talking. See that? So that's how, and you're running Adobe. So it's not like Outlook where you're stuck with 10 meg. So people will load big files up there, like him. He just has a different profile in his, but that's how we upload files. Okay? So that's why I can have up to 80 people on it, and I do that sometimes with the training, especially in Africa or South America. I'll just get them all in there and we start going through a DCO. Then when you have 80 people, what's cool about that is, say Susan goes, hey, I'd like to bring up something. So what I do is I quickly switch to Susan's machine, let her broadcast 80 people. I said, okay, Susan, that's enough. And I bring it back to my system. But the cool thing is, Jessica controls all the action because it's her DCO's running this. And it's cool. So think of this also in your mind. You work on a PowerPoint. You got 8 people working on it. Wouldn't it be nice to bring all 8 people in and just work on it right then and there instead of sending 8 copies out, adjustments, all that crazy stuff. You know what I mean? So what we're doing at the headquarters, and you can do it at your office, instead of having 8 PowerPoints go out, say, hey guys, I'm going to get a DCO, I'm going to need your help. I'm going to give you permission, start changing, hit slides, change the slides. You give them permission. So just think of that in the back of your mind. That's why the general directed me to set up every person with an account with DCO. Because she saw the power of having that type of skills to do it. So now Jessica's done. She goes, you know what? I'm going to go to meeting up here, and all she's going to do is click meeting. She's going to hit end meeting. Because if she doesn't end it, guess what? She's broadcasting all day. It's happened to a few people. And just click OK. Now, you should got a screen, Susan, right away. Says Jessica ended the meeting, we're done. But for Jessica, her screen on her lower right says start meeting. That's why we keep up 24/7. On my desk, I have it ready to go again. So I fire right back in here. Somebody else needs help from somewhere else in the world, like Timbuktu. They say, hey, I need your help. Boom, I start up, I see them coming in, I accept them, and I say, let's go to work.
You said you could have 8 people at the DCO working on the.
Right.
Can they work on different sheets at the same time?
No, whatever you.
One person, all right, whatever you do, one person.
Yeah, no, we could vote all 8 of us. but it's the first mouse click takes over. We try to make it so, hey, I'm gonna do it first, you know, we're all talking.
Okay, so it's not like you could do column A while he's doing.
No, one mouse click, one mouse will take over the next one. But, yeah, but what it's done, instead of general bringing all the SES in the Pentagon, you know, hours to get there, get dressed, I'm sure they're all in a pajama, whatever, they're just sitting there. And that's why the general, I also, at the Army headquarters, they all have cameras. So like Mr. Schaefer's former Air Force, he was our operations. That's why I went to work for the Army. He said, Ed, I need some help up there. So, and he has DCO all the time. Cameras are flashing, because he wants you to see when he says no, he means no. Like no money, like that. And they go, oh, yes, sir, I got it. But it was so funny, because when I was setting up the headquarters Army, most people didn't understand it until they got it going. They go, wow, this is so powerful. And it's happened to us at year end. We'll be working on something to get ready for the general. We're working on numbers. This happened with Heidi. Me and Jason were working on it, and Heidi goes, stop. What are you guys doing? You're not supposed to take that out. I said, man, that's per regulation. Oh, you didn't get the supplemental. See, if she didn't see that, we would have kept going. She caught it right away on our screen. She goes, stop. You shouldn't be taking out those object classes. And I said, per what? She goes, the supplemental came. Oh, you didn't get it. No, we didn't get it. Once we got it, then she saw why we stopped. But you see what I mean? If you don't see that, you wouldn't know. That's why our numbers were so different than hers. We're off by $2 billion. It's because we're taking out too many object classes. And then she caught that. So that's the power of DCO. Everybody comfortable with that? Okay. So anyway, go ahead. Your question.
We had a supervisor training group this year, and there was you can check off yes, no, or whatever, and then they would clear the screen. Like, yes, I agree, or clap hands,
Right.
Yeah, you can do
thumbs down, thumbs up.
Right, you can do that.
It's over on the little check down.
Correct. And also, now that you brought that, that's why we record the meetings. So if somebody doesn't make it, you go back and review it.
Oh, okay.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, he's showing you now. Say the word. Raise hand, all that stuff. And the captain's like an expert on this. I mean, he's like,
You want to try?
yeah, I'll try.
Okay.
So,
So just so you know what I'm doing, in fact, in DCO right now from my desk, I opened up a, see, you keep messing up my camera. I know it's you. I'm watching you from my desk. I know it's you. It's my camera girl over here. She's failing.
Yeah.
But anyway, from my desk, I've set up the classroom already, and I've had a standard BFMOC, FMSOC guest speakers thing since I've got here. And every time we have a Mr. Fritts or General Brown or anybody we can, we try to broadcast as much as we're able to. The DFML 21 series stuff, same thing. They're doing it all via DCO. There's no magic behind it. It's just the same form that he just taught you. Kind of reiterate what he's saying though. When I was a resource advisor back at Hill Air Force Base, instead of driving across the base, 20 miles over just to go speak to some resource advisor who didn't know how to get into a system, same thing. We just connect via DCO, and either she could watch me do it, or I could take control of her computer and do it for her. It just saves all that transit time.
And every wing we go to, the two most important people we set up right away is the DTS administrator. Because what are their jobs? They go out and help with DTS. Now they all DCO quickly. So imagine, boom, snap. So that's how fast they fix DTS issues. Then also, as you learn the PSR, right? You mentioned 2 people know how to use that. Now imagine you're helping them when you start the PSR up. It's recording the snapshots. They can go back and look at it. So there's so much power at your fingertips. And again, if you don't know it, you don't know it. So.
You drive it.
Okay. Okay, now, next thing I want to share with you. So here's the Word document. That's why I said you don't have to worry about it. You can take this back with you. We walk you through every screen capture. Now DCO, what I like about DCO, they have one of the best help centers in the entire Department of Defense. If you send them a help question or any kind of question, they respond in 2 hours. Never seen that before. Normally it takes days, or you forget what you asked them. But they actually respond quickly because they realize the Department of Defense has moved to DCO more than ever because the TDY is being cut. So I don't know who's doing it, but they're doing a great job. Also, let me show you something else. Remember I was telling you about AmberDeck? Okay, so AmberDeck, what that is, again, you just hold the shift key down. I'm going to bring up another internet. And for people who don't know what the, so let me show you this, google.com. Now when I go to google.com, and the words you want to type in there. But we have the instructions URL. I'm just going to show you. I'm going to type SAFE, SAFE, SAFE AmberDeck. So when I click on that, it's going to bring me to the link, and there it is. That's the #1 transfer tool in the Department of Defense.
Can't you also get to that through the portal as well? Like an
Yes, absolutely. Air Force has a portal for it. Now here's something I want to.
The Army?
It's Army.
It's an Army system.
This was created by the Army, guys. Here's the funny story about this. It was created by the Army 10 years ago, mainly for Afghanistan, Iraq. Allowed troops to send files across the network up to 2 gigabytes. They would send pictures back to their family members because they can go 2 gigs. If they had an outlook, they could go 10 megs. They can't even send anything. So this was created mainly for that. The funny thing about it is, now look at this. It says SAFE is designed to provide AmberDeck and its customers an unlikely alternative way to send files. SAFE supports up to 2 gigabytes. That's crazy. They're trying to raise that to 10 gigabytes. 90% of users, guess who they are? Air Force. Army paid for it, built it, Air Force used it. Because we got it out to the Air Force. We said, guys, start using this. Now, it's funny, when I went up to Headquarters Army, I said, man, thank you so much for building this and paying for it. They didn't know what I was talking about. I go, what are you talking about, Ed? I go, no, you guys built this beautiful system called SAFE, and we did? In other words, people are paying the contract, they didn't know what was behind it. So I showed it to them, they go, oh my gosh, we helped. 10 years, sir. Oh, well, let's get our people know. So now the Army's starting to swing, get the percentages down lower. But allows you up to 2 gigs. Here's a beautiful thing. Say you're at home. That's why we also make sure all our people who work at headquarters, or yourselves, all you do is, you know the $8 little CAC reader? You know what I'm talking about? So what they do, they'll send files from their home computer, just reading the CAC, and just send it off wherever you want. You just need a CAC reader to use AmberDeck. Also, when the people get the emails, it kind of freaks people out. They go, Ed, I got this email about me getting a file that's 1.8 gig, and it says no humans involved. I said, I know, there's no humans involved. That kind of scary? Go, no, it's all run by computers. That's how smart the technology is. There's no humans involved in this. The computers are talking, the computers are working with the cloud. And here's the cool thing is, when you send a file to your friend or whoever you're sending it to, it stays in the cloud 14 days. That's it, maximum 14 days. See, in other words, the Army did it right. They didn't want it to be a storage bank. So you got 14 days, and say Susan gets the file. She downloads the file. Because once you download it, the cloud deletes it out. But it waits for a triggering device at the end. So say Susan has the worst internet connection at home, and she gets 3/4 away and the internet stops. Well, AmberDeck recognizes that. It'll keep it out there. But as soon as she gets the file, she goes up there to try to do it again, it says it's already downloaded. Also, when I send this file, I can send it to 500 people the same file. So I'll just put them all in there, and they all get separate emails, separate passwords, and they all have, what it does, AmberDeck creates like an organizational piece in the cloud, and it stores all those files with the names attached to it. Also, and the best time to really use this, if you're using like 1 or 1.5 gigs always in the morning, because it's going to fight the internet. So if you got a lot of people by noon, especially like the masters, forget it. Yeah, because you're fighting all that. But anyway, just want to let all of you know about AmberDeck now. Trust me, in our instructions, it's just 1 page. Also, they have a DoD 411 in AmberDeck. Let me explain that to you. You ever try to reach people outside the Air Force? You want to get people that are maybe DFAS, Army, Navy, Marines? That's what the DoD 411 does. You open it up, you have 72 warehouses of Outlooks stored. So say, man, I think my cousin got a job. You type her name in, they'll show you her email address. So it's crossing departments. That's what AmberDeck does. Isn't that cool? And the people that don't like that you have this is DFAS. And all the DFAS people show up, they go, man, now you got my email address.
Exactly.
Huh?
But you can't set, so there's no way to send like an encrypted file?
Yes, you can. Yeah, the lower left-hand corner, what it does, you can encrypt it, okay, make it for official use only. You can make sure the other person has a CAC. You have 4 specific boxes to make sure you encrypt these things. So that's why the Air Force jumped all over this. Staff FM uses this all the time. DFAS uses this all the time because they'll send files to you per Amazon or send files back. You ever had this? Some of you are working on PowerPoints and the file is 80 meg. What's the old-fashioned way? You got to take it, you got to chop it up. Remember when you chop it up? So what happened was we had an Army major, because the Army didn't know it. She took this 80 meg file and chopped it in 9 pieces, sent it to an Air Force guy. He gets it. He has to put it all back together. He sends it back to her using Yammer. She goes, "Oh my God, where'd you get that? It's your own product, man. You paid for it." She goes, "Well, I don't know what I paid for it, but anyway." So it would have saved her 3 hours. So just by Ammerdeck. Yes, ma'am.
Do you think this is something that they could open up in Afghanistan?
It is open.
We use it in Afghanistan.
I could,
See?
will they be able to get an encrypted email?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we use it with before.
Mhm.
Yeah, we use
We
it
do.
in some hard deploy.
So like,
I've seen
we
fellas
had
back
somebody
in-
that we had, she had a son in EPR, but we couldn't get the EPR.
How you do it?
Yeah.
Because you can encrypt. But see, the thing is, and that's why at the national level we brief this. Because people are like, "You're kidding," and it's been out there 10 years.
Are you dealing with them? They don't know.
No, they don't know. Well, for one, it's an Army product,
Right.
so the Air Force will know about it. So what I'm doing is I'm trying to share with you that it's out there. So that's Ammerdeck. It's going to be your best friend, trust me. That is going to be something that you'll. Cool? Okay. There you go, yep.
This is basically the setup here, and it can also tell you when somebody's downloaded the file, so you'll know.
Right.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, what she's also bringing up, and I'm glad she said that. What also in Ammerdeck, what you do, when you send the file out, you check the box, as soon as they receive it, they'll send you an email right back. "Hey, this person got it."
Oh, that's cool.
And you save that. Now, people that have been deployed know about this, but all our stateside people don't know about it. And that's why we're trying to bring it up. Okay? IT loves this. Let me ask you this question. Some of you probably have Excel files. Now, when you get back to your station, look at this. Some of you probably build Excels back using Office 2003. No big deal, right? 2003, you build Excels. People are afraid to move it to 2007. Okay, but you need to. Let me explain why. If I got a file that's 80 meg of Excel 2003, as soon as I tell it to save as .xlsx, it'll shrink down to 4 meg, 80 to 4. It'll run a compression to Excel and shrink it down and add all the averages. So what I do is a lot of wings I'll go to, I'll say, "Hey, you got problems on your server?" Go, "Yeah." I said, "Want me to fix them for you real quick?" And I go in there and I shrink it down almost 90%. So I free up usually between 20 to 30 gigs. And of course, IT sees, I don't know what you guys did, but it worked. Same thing in PowerPoint. What I'm going to teach you in PowerPoint, I'm going to teach you how to run a compression in PowerPoint. So many PowerPoint shows, I get like 1,000, or I'm going to give you an example, 100 pictures of PowerPoint. They got pictures in it. They'll come back 120 meg. They're so huge, right? Then I'll send it back to them, it's like 800 KB. They said, "What the heck did you do? Did you take out 99 pictures?" I go, "No, look at it." They can't even tell the difference. I go, "Wow, how did you go from 80 meg or whatever down to 890 KB? I run 2 compressions in PowerPoint. I tell PowerPoint to compress every time I save. Okay, and you'll learn how to do that. And then when you tell that PowerPoint to run a compression, it's also when you crop in PowerPoint, PowerPoint doesn't delete the crops. You got to tell PowerPoint to delete those crop pictures. So they stay in memory. So when I teach the PowerPoint course, I tell them, you got to make sure, here, in fact, as I'm yakking my brain off, let me show you. So here's another thing. See, remember the snipping tool we were talking about? I click that. See, it turns all my pictures. So if I have 2 monitors, now I just crop that, and I got it in the buffer. See, it's going to the buffer. And I've say pretend this is email, and then I just paste it in. See how fast it is? Except I go straight in the outline. I move that. Does that make sense? Cool. But anyway, that's how fast snipping tool works. Now, now let's look at PowerPoint. So say we have PowerPoint. I'm going to open it up. And open up PowerPoint. Now, a lot of you, as we go into this, when you work in PowerPoint, do any of you click in the title and add titles?
Sometimes.
Is that how most of you do it? You click in the title? How do you do it? So say I'm doing 100 titles. How would you put your 100 titles in the PowerPoint?
Oh, on the master?
Say, no, not the master, but say I want, like Title I, I want, this first one, I want,
You put the cursor in, put the cursor in and type.
Yeah, is that how most of you do, click in here and type? Okay, as of today, don't do that anymore, okay? Because I want the PowerPoint to be controlled by the master. So let me show you something. It's been there for almost 30 years, nobody ever noticed it. I'm gonna show you where it's at. So where it's at is right here. In PowerPoint, you click on the outline. That's where you want to control it. See? So here I just created 10 slides that quickly.
So what you just hit new slide every time?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I just created 10 slides that quickly. See what I mean? The reason you want to use the outline is your outline is controlled by the master. So say the boss says, I don't like that font, I don't like the script, I don't like any of that stuff. That's okay. So I quickly change all 100 in the master. As soon as I change the master, all of them change all 50. See, when you start pasting,
I'm sorry, is your first slide your master?
no, we have to go into the master to get
Oh, I gotcha.
Yeah. So for instance, let me just show you how powerful this is. So I typed all this stuff in outline. Watch how I do this. I go to View, I go to Slide Master. When I go to Slide Master, I'm on the first slide. Now watch what happens. I click in here. I could move all 10 of my slides header up like that. Then I go in here to Home. I change all the font to maybe 9, just to show you the big difference. I go to View. I go to where's that? View. Where's the close at? Hold on. Oh, here it is. Sorry. So I close. It's affected every slide. See? Every one of them are all that size now. So if I have 100 slides, I change all of them on the slide master. I control the action from the slide master. Okay.
Now, can you take, let's say, the first 2 or 3 you want to be font 14, and the last 6, 7, 8, 9, 15, 20 slides you want to be font 12?
Right. Yeah, what he's asking is this. Say of my slides, so what people do, they'll create multiple sets of masters and control the masters based on the slide you're on. So you can do that. So that's why you see some people's PowerPoint, they'll have 15 masters. And they're designing each graph to the master. And that's why when we have our PowerPoint, that's why we're so packed. Because people will see us designing so quickly. Because we know all the intricate pieces how to do this. You guys probably have seen this too, right? You get a PowerPoint, and I'm just showing you some stuff. But first, let me insert that picture before I get off track. So here's a picture. Of course, there's no pictures, so let me go somewhere else here. Let's see, clip art, that's a good one. So I go to clip art. There's no clip art. Let's try another one. Let's see. Let's try pictures again. So there's no pictures here. Videos. Oh, here we go. Pictures. So I'm just going to pick one. Okay, so I got a picture now. Okay? Now here's the problem. When you bring pictures in, you got JNP, you got different types of pictures. That's why the PowerPoint climbs. You know, it depends on the kind of pictures you bring in. But yet they said, Ed, your pictures are more extreme than mine, but your files only come on May. And then you got 150 slides. And I said, because I tell PowerPoint to run a compression every time it sees it. So here's how it works. So, but here's the key. So once I get the picture, and here's something else. When some of you ever seen pictures, when somebody gets it, they stretch it. Mm-hmm. Also, the plane like lost 50 pounds. Mm-hmm. That's all skinny, or they make it wide. Okay, it's because the way you're hitting the pixels of the picture. The way to control the pixels, watch what happens. I'm going to hold the control key down and watch what the picture does. It'll go out, see how it goes out evenly? It's holding the pixels of the picture. See? So it stays intact. Then once I click on that, it's right here. Now this is Office 2010. It's called Compressed Pictures. See right here? I don't want it to apply only to this picture. I want it to apply to all pictures. And I want you to run it at 96 PPI.
Where did you use it at?
Okay, it's right. Now Office 7 is a little different, but 10 is that little icon right there. It's kind of hidden. But what I'm trying to share with you, Office 2010 results either resolution or it goes to 220 PPI. I shrink it down to 96 because it says minimize document size for sharing, meaning it's going to make it smaller. But the most important part is I take out, if you activate it, now your deleted crop areas of pictures are gone. See, if you don't hit this, your crop pictures, all the things you're making smaller, it's still PowerPoint is hanging on to it. Okay, so once you do that, now see, I took the check mark out here, apply only this picture, because any other picture that I bring in this object, to this PowerPoint, it'll keep running a compression every time it goes to save or shut down. Okay, so I click OK. Then what happens is, now when I go to save it, let's go save it, so F12, I'm just going to save it to the desktop. Now leave it 1, hit save. Now when I go to close it, and I open it, you'll see that, hang on. So when I open it, and I add more pictures, it'll keep cropping. Did I say that? Yes, 10, you're right. So now, every picture I add to this PowerPoint will keep running compression and save. Because normally, here's what happens. If you're working on a PowerPoint, and every time you add pictures, you hit save, PowerPoint keeps stacking on top of each other. That's why you see some of the, you see some slides, like these slides, it's 100 meg, because it kept saving over. And what I do is I get a hold of it. I do a save as, because I don't want to ruin that original of 110 meg. Then I run the compression first. I change it from 2003 to 2007 or 10. PowerPoint does a second compression. Then I tell PowerPoint to compress on save. So I ran 3 separate things and I shrunk it all the way.
So, sir, do you have to run that every time you add a picture?
No.
Okay.
Because the block says, not only to this picture means I'm going to do it to all.
Gotcha.
So as you add more,
It'll automatically do it
it'll all
once you have it saved.
exactly.
Okay.
That's a good tip though,
Right.
because that's why, see when you got those big PowerPoints, that's why it's so,
Oh,
so you click and you gotta wait 30 seconds, because it's so big. But if you're rocketing everything fast, now, you see how that works? Okay, now remember we talked this morning how to open up 2 Excels, right? Does anybody know how to open 2 PowerPoints?
And when?
No, unfortunately not.
No.
Thanks.
Well, you have one on, you can do like the window right, window left when you open them. Almost side by side.
Yeah, but see what happens, PowerPoint comes behind. So if you open up, if you create 2 PowerPoint presentations, you open the first one up, you open up number 2, or even shift. Even if you do 2, you still can't bring up 2. They won't let you do it. Okay. Here's the trick. Go ahead.
I got them both up right now.
You got both of them up, 2 separate PowerPoints?
I just said shit opened up. Oh.
Yeah, you'll bring up 2. Okay. So let me show you how to get around that. Okay, here's how it works.
Right here?
What you do, you've got to bring up both presentations. So let me explain this to you guys so you'll know how to do this. You bring up, because I always have like 10 PowerPoints. I'm maneuvering through all my presentations quickly because I got to move objects around. But here's how, the guy who built Microsoft PowerPoint, I think was fired because he didn't follow the other guys. Because Word and Excel, you can open up multiple sets, but PowerPoint doesn't. The way you get around it is this way. You open up all the PowerPoints you want, they automatically store behind each other, right? And what you do, you take the PowerPoint, kind of half minimize it, you stretch it across your screen so it looks like, it's still one object, but you stretch it across, right? And all you do is simply go up to View, Arrange All, and it'll split them. That's how you do it. So let me show you what I mean. Okay, here's PowerPoint number 1. So watch how I do this. I'm going to do a brand new one now. So let's go ahead and bring up PowerPoint again so you see what I'm doing. So I got PowerPoint number 1, and let's bring up number 2. And again, we learned a little trick here. So I'm just creating slides. Okay, and I'm going to do F12, Save As. I'm going to name it number 2. So what you did, go to Desktop, click Save. Now I have 2 of them. Okay, so I bring up number 1. No big deal. Here's number 1. So let's bring up the 10 slides so you can see it. Okay, so here's number 1. Now I go bring up the other one. So go File, Open. Go to Desktop, get number 2 loaded. Okay, so we'll load number 2. Now see, one's behind the other. The way you get around it, now like, let's pretend like I got a dual monitor. I take this, then I just take this and stretch it across the other screen. You know how you stretch it? You know what I mean? Okay, then all you simply do is, let's go full screen on it now. So I got a full screen, then I just go to View, Arrange All. I got both of them up. That's it. So I usually have 6 up. That's how you gotta do it. So you bring up all your PowerPoints first, then go view, arrange all, and you split them all the way across. And that's how you copy and paste and move them between PowerPoints. I'm just trying to show you guys all these tricks, because eventually you'll be working for the same boss as I got, and they don't put up with, hey, sir, I haven't been trained yet. They don't want to hear that, you know, so. That's why, you know, there's a lot of places I go to, I'm there initially, but the people who replace me, I make sure they know how to do this. I'm not going to leave somebody there to get swallowed up. So we teach them all the way. Okay. Okay. It's 12:49. I think we got back from lunch. What I'd like to do is I want to teach you how to do these 100 graphs in 5 minutes. Okay. You guys want to learn how to do that, right?
Yeah.
Okay. We're going to spend some time on it. Reason why, I want you guys to take a quick break, but I'm afraid we're not going to make it to the end. Maybe let's go through this, and we got time, then we'll take a quick break and go on some other stuff. Is that okay? Okay. I was going to say you ran any bottles or anything. No. You ever had that when you go on trips with the parents or your kid? They say, hey, just go on the bottle. Anyway, here we go. Okay, let me show you where to get to these files. There's a shortcut.
So what did you say the function key was to close down the program?
I thought it was Alt F2, or F2, or Alt F2. I can't remember. I got to look that up. That's my fault. I'll find it. Okay. Now, while I'm here, you ever have this issue? You're going to a portion of your drives, and see how it looks like that? You don't want to give that to somebody, because they can't get to it, right? So nice little trick in here is somebody's trying to get to the site that I'm trying to get them to. Watch how easy this is. See, this is this, right? All you got to do when you do this is just left mouse click anywhere to the right of the stuff. Then I just copy and paste that and send it to an email. See how that works? See, it looks like this, but if you left click, and it gives you the path. Okay? So what I want all of you to get to is this path. Let's see if you can get to that file. Now listen carefully. When you get to this path, I need you to copy and paste those 2 objects to your desktop. Now, not a cut now. Nobody's cut it. As soon as you cut it, we lost everybody else. So copy and paste those 2 files to your desktop. Can you do that for me? Okay, the captain said that you guys knew where the site was, where all the stuff is at. 52 MAHG-FS. Here, let me blow that up for you. Hang on. Here, let me bring it up.
That one?
Yeah, both those files move into your desktop.